Chapter 211. Just as Lin Xian entered the cultivation room, the people of the Xing Manor also found this place and learned of Lin Xian's whereabouts. You two stay here and keep watch. If there's any movement, report it immediately. Yes, the two martial artists replied respectfully. In the cultivation room, the air let out a low rumbling sound. The originally hot room actually became somewhat cool. Lin Xian sat cross-legged on the brown stone platform, and a layer of blue ice crystals appeared around him. The 8 holes that were spewing lava were also covered by a layer of ice. This process continued for 3 days. On the 4th day, Lin Xian opened his eyes. As if countless stars were extinguished, the purple light in Lin Xian's eyes disappeared and became even deeper. His eyes flashed, and inscriptions formed in the air, flickering. What was different from the past was that this time, 2 inscriptions were formed at once, and the lines on them were incomparably complex. As expected of a second seal inscription master, my soul power is more than twice as strong. Lin Xian showed a hint of joy. These days, he used the mysterious ice chi to temper his soul, and finally reached the level of a second seal inscription master. I can go to the inscription union to take the test. Lin Xian walked out of the door. After sending a message to Zhao Shui, Lin Xian waited at the side. Not long after, the stone door at the side slowly opened. Zhao Shui walked out with a smile on her face. Not only did her soul power strengthen a lot, but she also broke through to the 6th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. However, when she saw Lin Xian, she was obviously stunned. You really broke through to become a second seal inscription master? Zhao Shui's voice trembled a little. I was lucky and broke through, Lin Xian said with a smile. Zhao Shui rolled her eyes. This was not a matter of luck. Many inscription masters cultivated their whole lives, and still might not be able to become a second-grade inscription master. Lin Xian's talent was too abnormal. Let's go. The test is too easy for you. Zhao Shui took a deep breath and said sourly. The two walked out of the 3rd floor together and headed outside. Seeing Lin Xian come out, the people of the Xing clan were delighted and were about to send a message. Lin Xian had already noticed their movements. With a flash, he appeared in front of the two. Attention! No fighting is allowed in the volcano cultivation area. Lin Xian's actions attracted the attention of the cultivation area's martial artists, and an old man warned him. It's a martial artist in the 7th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. Lin Xian's voice was surprised. Lin Xian glanced at the cultivators of the Xing mansion before he turned around and left. Zhao Shui hurriedly, and the two quickly they disappeared. Isn't that the person the Xing mansion is looking for? A well-informed cultivator asked in a low voice. The old man in the cultivation area stroked his beard and said coldly, no matter who it is, no fighting is allowed here. He looked at the 2 martial artists of the Xing clan and suddenly frowned. Something's wrong. The old man's expression changed. He took a step forward and quickly arrived in front of the two. The eyes of the 2 martial artists of the Xing clan were unfocused, and there was a pained expression on their faces. This is a mental illusion. The old man was very knowledgeable and could tell at a glance that the two were under an illusion and had lost their minds. Wake up! The old man shouted in a low voice, and a wave of pressure enveloped the two. Ah! The two shuddered and then looked at the old man in front of them with a blank expression. What's going on? Why are we here? Oh no, that brat ran away. Hurry and report. The two hurriedly ran away. AI. The old man shook his head and then walked in. The Inscription Alliance was an organization of inscription masters. It was very famous in the entire Tiannan region and could be said to be a very large organization. The 9-story tower towered into the clouds and was completely red. It was built with high-quality fire stones. The gate was very wide, 10 meters high and 20 meters long. There were lifelike dragons and phoenixes painted on it. There were not many people coming and going, but those who came and went were either disciples of aristocratic families or martial artists of large sections. The Inscription Alliance was actually a place of business. Elixirs, weapons, arrays, everything was available inside. As long as you could afford it, there was nothing you could not buy. Moreover, there were inscription masters inside. Some martial artists could ask for items that were suitable for them. The effects were much better than those found elsewhere. Lin Xian and Zhao Shui slowly walked up the stairs, but they were blocked at the entrance. "Why have you two come?" the guard at the entrance asked. He saw that Lin Xian and Zhao Shui were dressed in ordinary clothes and did not look like rich people, so he stopped them to ask. During this time, a few disciples of aristocratic families passed by and looked at Lin Xian with disdain. "Humph, country bumpkin, you've come to the wrong place," someone sneered. Lin Xian smiled indifferently. "I heard that there is an inscription master examination here. We want to try." Inscription master examination. The guard at the entrance changed his face. Even the disciples of aristocratic families were surprised. They looked at Lin Xian with a different look, as if they were more respectful. "So that's how it is. Sorry, please come with me." The guard cupped his fist and said, "Thank you." Lin Xian's attitude was gentle and his expression was calm. After the two followed the guard in, some of the nearby martial artists praised. "That boy is so young. He should not be an adult yet, right? Tsk, the girl next to him is not bad. My heart is itching to see her." "You're courting death. If he becomes an inscription master, I'll see if you dare to talk nonsense." "Hee, I'm just kidding. But it's rare to see someone so young taking the inscription master examination." The hall was even more spacious. The first floor was more than 30 meters high. There were many stars painted on the roof, as if it were the sky. "Old Su, these two are here to take the inscription master examination," the guard respectfully said. "Oh." The old man who was dozing off opened his eyes, and a sharp light flashed in his eyes. He looked at Lin Xian and Zhao Shui, and felt the soul force on their bodies. He nodded. "Today there is an examination. Go fill in your information." Old Su finished speaking and left. Someone brought in a pen and paper. Lin Xian looked and saw some basic information. Most of it was name, age, and so on. The two quickly filled in the information and handed it to Old Su. "Oh, 17 years old?" Old Su looked at Lin Xian's information, and his eyebrows suddenly rose. A 17-year-old taking the inscription master examination was indeed very young. But when he saw the following information, he sat up straight. "You want to take the second-grade inscription master examination?" Old Zu's voice was full of doubt. "Yes." Lin Xian nodded. He could not think of why this old man would have such a big reaction. "Little boy, are you playing with me?" Old Su asked with uncertainty. "Senior, who do you think would dare to play with people here?" Lin Xian did not know whether to laugh or cry. "That's right." Old Su nodded. "But you have not taken the inscription master examination. You will need to start from the beginning." "No problem." Lin Xian readily agreed. If he could not pass the first-grade inscription master examination, then how could he become a second-grade inscription master? Chapter 212. After bypassing the second floor, Elder Su led Lin Xian and Zhao Shui to the third floor. After walking for more than 10 meters, a dark red door appeared in front of them. There were 2 bronze lion handles on top of the door. Elder Su placed his hand on one of the lion heads and exerted a little force. A circle of inscription that looked like water ripples quickly spread out, forming a triangular pattern. Buzz the dark red door trembled slightly, and then it opened a crack. Elder Su smiled and pushed the door open. Lin Xian praised in his heart. He didn't expect the mechanism to be so ingenious. If he rushed in without knowing the situation, he would be seriously injured. On top of the dark red door, there was a powerful inscription formation. Its aura was not weaker than that of a harmonious spirit realm expert. Lin Xian also noticed the soul force that Elder Su released just now. A second seal inscription master and a peak one at that. He was very strong. At least Lin Xian was no match for him at the moment. Behind the dark red door was a classical hall. It was less extravagant, but it had a sense of history. There were many people standing in the hall. Most of them were young people. In front of those young people there were 3 people in silver robes. On their chests, there were a few golden ripples that looked like crescent moons. Among them, there was an elegant middle-aged man and a young woman on both sides. Both of them had 2 golden ripples on their chests. The one standing in the middle was an old man with 3 golden ripples on his chest. What a strong soul force! Lin Xian's pupil shrank when he saw the old man in the middle. His soul force had already surpassed Elder Zu's, reaching an unbelievable level. It's a 3rd-grade inscription master. Wine Lord transmitted his voice. 3rd grade. Lin Xian was surprised. The Inscription Alliance was indeed worthy of its name. They had seen so many inscription masters in such a short time. There were even 3rd grade inscription masters. 3rd grade inscription masters were equivalent to harmonious spirit realm experts. The people in the hall looked at Lin Xian's group with curiosity. Elder Su, why are you here? Who are these two behind you? The middle-aged woman asked doubtfully. These two are also here to participate in the Inscription Master examination. I saw that it was not time for the examination yet, so I brought them here. After all, there are still a few days before the Battle of the Inscription Tower. We can't miss these young geniuses. Young geniuses? Hearing Elder Zu's words, everyone looked at Lin Xian with a trace of dissatisfaction in their eyes. Even the 3 silver-robed men looked over. Among them, the scholarly middle-aged man was slightly stunned when he saw Lin Xian. Then he smiled. Lin Xian, I didn't expect it's you. Greetings, Senior Wang. Lin Xian smiled. This middle-aged man was the elder of the 10,000 Treasure Tower. Moreover, he was the one who escorted Lin Xian and the others to the snow-seeking sect. Lin Xian, you are Lin Xian? The middle-aged woman was surprised. Even the powerful elder stared at him. The young disciples behind them were discussing. Many of them looked at Lin Xian with unfriendly expressions. He is that Lin Xian from the 1,000 Treasure Tower. I heard that he took a spot to participate in the Inscription Tower without taking the examination. What? There's such a thing? I want to see what kind of ability this kid has. What kind of ability can he have at such a young age? Lin Xian listened to these discussions and smiled bitterly. It turned out that his reputation had already spread among these people. The middle-aged man said to Lin Xian, "This is Deacon Meng of the Inscription Alliance, and this is Elder Song of the Inscription Alliance. He is also the manager of this division." "Greetings, elders," Lin Xian said respectfully. The two smiled and nodded. Elder Song said slowly, "Since everyone is here, let's begin." "Yes." Deacon Wang received the order and then said in a clear voice, "There are a total of 16 people in this inscription examination. Those who draw the inscription according to the requirements will become a 1st-grade inscription master. Now everyone find a place to stand. The examination is about to begin." In front of them 16 green jade platforms appeared. They were more than a meter high and some materials were placed on them. Lin Xian and the others found a place to stand. He roughly looked at them and felt that there should be no difficulty. The others were seriously preparing. Lin Xian looked up slightly and found that there were 4 young people who did not come to participate in the examination. Instead, they stood to the side and looked coldly. Among them, there was a woman in a silver robe. Her expression was cold and her appearance was unparalleled. Her graceful figure was hidden in the silver robe. On her chest, there was a golden line. 1st-grade inscription master. Lin Xian was surprised. He found that the others were also 1st-grade inscriptionists. It seems that these people should be participating in the 2nd-grade inscription master examination. Feeling Lin Xian's gaze, the beautiful woman did not change her expression. However, the young people beside her showed a disdainful expression. The inscription master examination begins now. You only need to draw the inscription according to the requirements. Deacon Wang said in a clear voice. On the green jade platform there was a layer of light. Lin Xian found that there was a line of words on top of it. It turns out that I have to draw 9 basic inscriptions and 9 derivative inscriptions. But I only have 20 breaths of time. Lin Xian quickly read the requirements. With a thought, he began to draw the inscriptions. For him, this was a very simple matter. These inscriptions were the most commonly used ones. Lin Xian practiced every day. And the time limit was even less of a problem for him. He was now a 2nd-grade inscription master. His speed was many times faster than before. However, he did not show too much shock. Outside, Deacon Wang and the others saw that Lin Xian used 15 breaths of time to draw 18 inscriptions. They could not help but secretly nod. However, the young people showed a look of disdain. Humph! That year I only used 12 breaths of time. These people are really useless. Of course they can't be compared with Brother Zhou. Another person laughed. But that girl's strength is not bad. The young man surnamed Zhou looked at the figure and his eyes lit up. They were naturally looking at Zhao Shui. In terms of appearance, Zhao Shui did not belong to the silver-robed woman. Moreover, she had an indescribable aura. Moreover, Zhao Shui's strength had reached the peak of a first-grade inscription master. Her strength was comparable to those people's. The silver-robed woman looked at Zhao Shui. Her eyes gradually brightened and then she carefully looked at her. On the green jade platform, after Lin Xian drew 18 inscriptions, the words on the platform changed again. This time there were 3 choices. Lin Xian quickly chose the inscription master. Refining a first-grade elixir of qualified quality. The time is 30 minutes. Lin Xian looked at the materials on the green jade platform and immediately had an idea. Only 1/3 of the materials on the platform were for inscription masters. And from this 1/3, he had to choose the spiritual medicine he needed. If the previous test was about basic skills, then this test was about actual combat. Only by refining a first-grade elixir of qualified quality within the specified time could one become a first-grade inscription master. Outside, Elder Song and the 2 deacons looked at the field. Chapter 213. It should be about half, Deacon Wang whispered as he looked at Lin Xian. When he saw Lin Xian's skillful technique, a smile appeared on Deacon Wang's face. Lin Xian was quite relaxed. Refining a first-grade elixir was not difficult for him at all. He could even separate his soul force to observe the others. Among these people, about half of them had the strength of a first-grade inscriptionist, but they were far inferior to Zhao Shui, let alone him. After half an hour, the green jade platform shone and everyone stopped. Among them, 5 people did not finish refining and were directly eliminated. Among the remaining 11 people, 4 of their medicinal pills did not meet the mark. In the end, only 7 people passed the assessment. This number was similar to what the deacons had guessed, so no one was too surprised. The disciples who passed the assessment were excited, while those who failed stood aside dejectedly. Elder Song said slowly, "Inscription is broad and profound. Whether you pass the assessment or not, you can't relax. Remember. Next is the second-grade inscriptionist assessment. Shanshan, you should get ready." "Yes," the young men in silver robes replied. The 4 of them walked toward the green jade platform, and Lin Xian also walked out. "Boy, what are you doing? Go back," one of the young men shouted coldly. Everyone looked at Lin Xian, not knowing what he was going to do. The silver-robed woman looked at him and frowned. She said softly, "Please don't disturb our assessment." Lin Xian touched his chin. "Sorry, I'm also a member of the assessment." "You." The young men were stunned and then sneered. "This is the second-grade inscriptionist assessment. Can you do it?" The disciples who just passed the assessment also sneered. "He wants to take the second-grade inscriptionist assessment? Even I can't do it, let alone him." Zhao Shui smiled but did not say anything. She knew Lin Xian had the strength. Elder Song and the others looked at Elder Su with questioning gazes. "Haha, that's right. This little guy signed up for the second-grade inscriptionist assessment." Elder Su smiled. Because he has never taken the assessment, he started from the first-grade inscriptionist assessment. "What?" Those young disciples looked as if they had eaten duck eggs and were choked speechless. The silver-robed woman looked at Lin Xian with a trace of curiosity in her eyes. The 3 young men behind her looked gloomy and stared at Lin Xian with unkind eyes. Not everyone can take the second-grade inscriptionist assessment. First, you have to reach the second-grade soul force. The young man named Zhou said. "Prove it. How old is this guy? Can't do it." "That's right. It's ridiculous." Lin Xian's expression remained unchanged. Since they wanted to prove it, he would prove it to them. 2 inscriptions appeared in the air at the same time. Ripples appeared in the air as strands of strange energy fluctuated. Those complicated lines dazzled many people. After a moment, the inscription in the air dissipated. The crowd woke up from their daze and looked at Lin Xian's figure as if they had seen a ghost. How is this possible? He is only 17 years old. The group of disciples felt it was hard to breathe. They could not believe this fact. The silver-robed woman's eyes became fierce and contained a fighting spirit. Her name is Huang Shanshan, and she is Elder Song's disciple. Since she was young, she had been recognized as an abnormal talent. The disciples around her could not compare with her. Even some of the older disciples could not compare with her. But now a youth had appeared. He was younger than her, but his strength was not weak. This made her feel a sense of resistance. Elder Song nodded with a smile and said, "Let's begin." Lin Xian and the others walked to the green jade stage and calmly prepared. So what if you have a second-grade soul force? Zhou Yong's face was cold. To become a second-grade inscriptionist, it is not enough to have a powerful soul force. Both of you, show me your true abilities. Zhou Yong shouted in a low voice. He did not want to be outdone by a youth. Looking at the 5 people preparing, Deacon Meng chuckled and said, "Shanshan, this little girl has been waiting for this for a long time. Yes, she has been preparing for more than 2 months. There should be no problem this time." Elder Song laughed. But it is not certain for the others. After all, the second-grade inscriptionist test is not child's play. Deacon Wang, do you think that little guy Lin Xian can pass? I don't know. Deacon Wang shook his head. The last time I saw him, he only had a first-grade soul force. I didn't expect that after 2 months he would have a breakthrough. Oh, Elder Song and the others were interested. It seems that this child's talent is amazing. I hope he can shine in the battle of the inscription tower. As they talked, Lin Xian and the others began to move. The disciples held their breaths and carefully watched the 5 people on the stage. They did not want to miss a single detail. Lin Xian calmed himself and carefully drew the inscription. He did not dare to be careless. Compared to the previous test, the difficulty of this test was nearly 10 times higher. This was also the reason why there were so few second-grade inscriptionists. It was too difficult. Lin Xian pushed his soul force to the limit and controlled the inscription. Huang Shanshan also had a dignified expression. Her delicate face was covered in sweat. Zhou Yong and the other 2 were sweating profusely, their faces pale. The mysterious inscriptions in the air were like a bottomless pit, absorbing their soul force. Time slowly passed. 5 inscriptions appeared in the sky. One could vaguely make out that they were a pattern, but it was not complete. Among them, Huang Shanshan had completed about 70%. Lin Xian had completed half. Zhou Yong had completed about 60%. And the remaining 2 had completed about 40%. Ha! It was like a piece of jade shattering. A crisp sound echoed in the air. A crack appeared in one of the inscriptions. With a bang it shattered. The youth closest to him was affected, and his inscription was instantly scattered. Lin Xian and the others were also affected. The inscriptions in the sky seemed like they would scatter at any time. This change was unexpected. The inscription process needed to be absolutely safe and not be disturbed by the outside world. Otherwise, the possibility of failure was high. Lin Xian's soul force intertwined, constantly stabilizing the inscription while continuing to draw. Huang Shanshan and Zhou Yong were protecting the inscription with all their might, not daring to be distracted. Elder Song and the others looked at the field with a trace of worry. Lin Xian's technique is very special. It doesn't seem to be a common technique in the Xia Kingdom. Elder Song was surprised to see Lin Xian continue to draw while protecting the inscription. I heard that he has a master who does not appear in the world, but I don't know the details. Deacon Wang quickly said. But he is a disciple of the Sword Pool Mansion's Lin family. His identity is very clear, and he can participate in the inscription tower battle. Yes, I also heard about this. Deacon Meng said from the side. Just as the 3 of them were talking, the air in the field finally calmed down. Huang Shanshan and Zhou Yong heaved a sigh of relief, but their expressions changed again. Chapter 214. Lin Xian's speed was so fast that Huang Shanshan and Zhou Yong's expressions changed. Damn it, how can this kid be so fast? Zhou Yong's face was gloomy as he started to inscribe. Huang Shanshan also took a deep breath. She no longer paid attention to anything else and focused on drawing. The difference in performance was obvious. At least in terms of mental strength, Huang Shanshan was much stronger than Zhou Yong. In the end, Lin Xian was the first to finish inscribing. He continued to refine the second-grade elixir with a calm face. Huang Shanshan was the second to finish inscribing. She had already regained her composure. Zhou Yong was the last to finish inscribing. His face was ferocious as he looked at Lin Xian coldly. After 2 hours, the 3 of them finished inscribing. Elder Song and the rest walked over with anticipation and started to examine the 3 elixirs. They were most concerned about Huang Shanshan, so they were also the first to examine her. Not bad. The color is still a little rough, but it's a genuine 2nd-grade elixir. Shanshan, you passed. Hearing this, the silver-robed woman's face finally showed a trace of joy. Then Elder Song and the rest looked at Zhou Yong. The purity is not enough, and the fire is still a little lacking. I was a little impatient, Elder Song said in a deep voice. Deacon Wang and Deacon Meng also sighed and shook their heads slightly. What? Zhou Yong didn't pass. The surrounding disciples were also stunned. They had a new understanding of the 2nd-grade inscriptionist assessment. Zhou Yong's face was gloomy. He unwillingly bowed to the 3 elders and then clenched his fist without saying a word. At this moment everyone looked at Lin Xian. Humph, he definitely won't pass. Didn't you see that even a genius like Zhou Yong failed? Most people were not optimistic about Lin Xian. Even Zhao Shui was a little worried. After all, reaching the 2nd seal did not mean that one could become a 2nd-grade inscriptionist. There were also many factors such as technique, proficiency, experience, and many others. It's a spiritual liquid. Elder Song was surprised. Previously, Shanshan and Zhou Yong were both refining elixirs. He did not expect Lin Xian to be refining spiritual liquid. In essence, there was no difference between the two. When the cork was opened, a mellow fragrance spread out. Everyone was a little confused and subconsciously sniffed a few times. Isn't this wine? Did this kid refine a pot of wine? Humph. I told you that this kid is unreliable. Smelling the fragrance of wine, Zhou Yong's heart calmed a little. Finally, he was not the only one who failed. Elder Song and the others didn't pay much attention to this. The 3 of them checked carefully. The expressions of the 3 of them gradually turned solemn, and their eyes were filled with shock. In the end, Elder Song took a deep breath and said, a 2nd-grade spirit liquid, and a top-grade one at that. What? Everyone was stunned. They didn't expect this result. A 2nd-grade was of it. At this moment, the others also came to their senses and looked at Lin Xian in shock. Elder Song's eyes flashed. You are the first 17-year-old 2nd-grade inscription master in Xia country. I was just lucky. Lin Xian smiled and bowed to the 3 seniors. As a 2nd-grade inscription master of the Inscription Alliance, you will be protected by the Inscription Alliance. Correspondingly, you will also need to complete some tasks. Every year, you will refine 3 elixirs or weapons for the Inscription Alliance for free, Elder Song said loudly. Lin Xian and the others knew about this, so they did not have much of a reaction. After registering his information, Lin Xian received the Inscription Master's silver robe. Lin Xian, you are very talented. I hope we can exchange our experiences. Huang Shanshan had a smile on her face. Senior Sister Huang, you are too polite. Lin Xian said lightly. When there is a chance, I will definitely have a good exchange with you. After that, he and Zhao Shui left. Everyone was stunned. Their goddess Huang Shanshan had actually invited Lin Xian. Many disciples' hearts were broken. Zhou Yong's face turned black and his body trembled. However, what surprised them even more was that Lin Xian had actually rejected her. Huang Shanshan's face was a little stiff. In the past, she had always rejected others. This time, she finally tasted the feeling of being rejected. She stopped smiling and walked toward Elder Song and the others. Outside the Inscription Alliance, the warriors of the Xing family were waiting anxiously. Are you sure that the kid went in? The bald man asked. Yes, I saw it with my own eyes, the warrior under him said. Good, this time we must not let them escape, the bald man said darkly. Big brother, that kid is coming out. Xing Tong was wearing a cloak as he stared fiercely at the gate. Be careful, don't fight at the gate of the Inscription Alliance. When he comes out, we will fight. A group of people hid behind the building and waited patiently. Lin Xian noticed the presence of these people. The corners of his mouth curled up as he slowly walked over. Zhao Shui followed behind him with a smile on her face. She was not worried about Lin Xian at all. She was afraid that no one in the entire Xing family would dare to make a move against a second-grade inscription master. The two of them walked unhurriedly. Suddenly, Dozens of warriors rushed out from both sides and surrounded them. Everyone's aura was very strong, forming an invisible pressure that pressed down on the two of them. However, their pressure was like a stone sinking into the sea. It did not have any effect. "You guys are so bold to make a move against an inscription master," Lin Xian said slowly. The bald man was stunned. Suddenly, his pupils shrank. He saw that there was a golden pattern on Zhao Shui's chest. A first-grade inscription master. The warriors were shocked. The aura on their bodies quickly disappeared. "Big brother!" Xing Tong shouted anxiously while wearing a cloak. Big brother Zhou Yong is also participating in the inscription master assessment today. Maybe he is already a second-grade inscription master. When the time comes, are we afraid of a first-grade inscription master? Everyone's eyes lit up when they heard this. They could not afford to offend a first-grade inscription master. However, it would be different if there was a second-grade inscription master supporting them. One had to know that the difference in status between the two was like heaven and earth. "Surround them and wait for Zhou Yong to come," the bald man said in a deep voice. "Are you sure?" Lin Xian asked. "If you anger us, your Xing family will be in big trouble." "Kid, you don't have to scare me," the bald man sneered. "Our Xing family still has a few first-grade inscriptionists. Big brother Zhou Yong is here." Xing Tong shouted happily. "The two of you are dead. I will make you my slaves and you will never be able to rise again. Brother Zhou, you are here." The bald man greeted him with a smile. Zhou Yong did not pass the assessment and was obviously in a bad mood. He said a few words indifferently and prepared to leave. "Big brother Zhou, these two guys hurt me. You have to help me," Xing Tong screamed. Zhou Yong frowned and looked ahead. Chapter 215. Zhou Yong's face twisted when he saw Lin Xian. However, when he thought of Lin Xian's status as a second-grade inscription master, he sighed. He could not afford to offend Lin Xian unless his master intervened. "Big brother Zhou, you must have become a second-grade inscription master. Help me teach them a lesson." Xing Tong was still shouting. However, when they saw the golden pattern on Zhou Yong's chest, they were stunned. "Brother Zhou, could it be that you?" the bald man said doubtfully. "I'm sorry everyone. I can't do anything about this." Zhou Yong sighed. "Lord Lin Xian, this has nothing to do with me." He cupped his fists and said to Lin Xian, Lord Lin?" The surrounding martial artists were stunned and looked at Lin Xian in confusion. Someone who could be addressed as Lord by Zhou Yong was definitely not a simple person. Could it be that Lin Xian had an extraordinary background? The bald man suddenly had a bad premonition. He was about to ask when he realized that Zhou Yong had already run away. Lin Xian flipped his palm and put on his silver robe. The two golden patterns on his chest were like dazzling swords. Second-grade inscription master. The faces of the Xing family martial artists changed, and the bald man almost jumped up. They never thought that Lin Xian was a second-grade inscription master. No wonder Lin Xian was not afraid of them. No wonder Zhou Yong called him Lord Lin Xian. Everything was clear now. "It's a misunderstanding, Lord Lin. It's a misunderstanding." The bald man immediately smiled. They could not afford to offend a second-grade inscription master. "Hurry up and disperse. If you block Lord Lin's path, he'll kill you. Lord Lin, take care. Well, leave now." The bald man nodded and bowed, preparing to leave. "Wait," Lin Xian said in a low voice. "You want to leave?" Everyone stiffened and reluctantly stopped in their tracks. The bald man gritted his teeth and threw Xing Tong in front of Lin Xian. Then he punched and kicked him. "You piece of trash, how dare you offend Lord Lin? You're courting death." Xing Tong twitched and screamed in pain. He even wanted to die. A second-grade inscription master could kill him in the blink of an eye. "Lord Lin, I was wrong. I was blind. I deserve to die." Xing Tong started to slap himself. "Lord Lin Xian, let me go." "It's done," Lin Xian said calmly. "I can let you go, but it depends on your sincerity. Lord Lin, feel free to instruct us. The Xing family will definitely get it done for you," the bald man hurriedly said. Xing Tong also looked at Lin Xian with a hopeful expression. Lin Xian took out a piece of paper and wrote down a long list of spirit herbs. "I'll give you 3 days to gather everything on the list, and send it to the volcano cultivation room. The bald man took the paper and glanced at it. Seeing that it was full of precious spirit herbs, he felt a burst of heartache, but he couldn't show it on his face. If I don't see anything in 3 days, I'll have to make a trip to the Xing Manor. At that time, don't blame me for not giving you a chance. Lin Xian said. Lord Lin Xian, don't worry. We'll definitely deliver it. The bald man said quickly and left with his men. Lin Xian smiled as he watched them leave. He walked with Zhao Shui to the volcano cultivation room. Lin Xian entered the room again. This time, he wanted to remove the Purple Devil Palace's mark. His soul force constantly scanned his body to check the situation in his body. With Lord Alcohol's guidance, he finally found the mark. It was a purple dot of light the size of a needle. It was hidden in the depths of his body. In the past, Lin Xian couldn't find it. But now that his soul force had improved, it was easy for him to find it. Lin Xian's soul force turned into an invisible sword qi. It pierced the purple dot of light and shattered it. Golden lightning surged, forming a sphere that wrapped around it and sent it out of Lin Xian's body. After removing the purple dot of light, Lin Xian felt much more comfortable. Even the circulation of his spiritual energy was much smoother. He closed his eyes and rested for a while. After adjusting his condition to its peak, he took out a huge block of ice. Cold air surged and the entire room seemed to be frozen. The blue-haired man was motionless inside the blue block of ice. However, Lin Xian could clearly feel that the blue-haired man's aura was still fluctuating. It's been so long. He hasn't frozen to death? Lin Xian was surprised. With your current strength, you should be able to use the slave seal. Wine Lord said slowly, do as I say. Lin Xian nodded. His soul force poured out and entered the ice block. When it came into contact with the blue-haired man, the latter's closed eyes suddenly opened. Green flames danced in his eye sockets. Seal! Lin Xian's soul force poured into the blue-haired man's mind, forming a strange seal. Ka-ka-ka! The green flames in the blue-haired man's eyes danced. A terrifying aura spread out, causing cracks to appear on the ice block. Soul Sword! A translucent sword aura poured out from Lin Xian's left eye. It passed through the ice block and stood directly in the blue-haired man's soul. Chi-chi! Instantly, the green flames in the blue-haired man's eyes weakened. At the same time, Lin Xian's slave imprint was successfully imprinted in his mind. It's done! Lin Xian breathed a sigh of relief. Cloud State Underwater World. In the huge crack there was a palace. In the palace, the bronze coffin suddenly trembled. A terrifying aura spread out. The waves at the bottom of the sea rolled, forming a huge whirlpool that seemed to tear everything apart. Slave seal! A deep voice came from the coffin. In the cultivation room, Lin Xian let the blue-haired man out and stared at him cautiously. Master! Inscriptions appeared in the blue-haired man's eyes. Lin Xian nodded with satisfaction. It seemed that the slave seal was effective. Suddenly, the blue-haired man's body stiffened. The green flames in his eyes burned again. This is his original body summoning you. Quickly use your sword intent to sever this connection. Wine Lord reminded. Lin Xian's eyes focused. The sword intent in his body surged. A sharp sword aura slashed through the air. The invisible connection was severed. The blue-haired man regained his calm. All right, there won't be any more accidents this time. Cloud State Underwater World. The deep voice sounded again. Great Dragon Sword. In the cultivation room, Lin Xian exhaled and asked in a deep voice. Who are you? I'm your servant. The blue-haired man said. I'm asking who you were before. Or rather, who is your original body? Left Green Dragon Envoy. The blue-haired man said. What's your relationship with the Nether Hall? Lin Xian continued to ask. The Nether Hall is one of the 8 great halls of our sect. The blue-haired man said slowly. One of the 8 great halls. Lin Xian's eyes narrowed. As far as he knew, the Nether Hall had once controlled several countries. It was extremely powerful. But now it was just a hall. What sect? Tell me everything you know. Lin Xian said in a deep voice. The Nether Hall belongs to the Black Dragon sect. It's one of the weaker halls. The Hall Master is the Nether Old Man, who has reached the earthly venerable realm. Chapter 216. The blue-haired man told him some basic information. He didn't know anything else. However, this was normal. He was just a doppelganger. It was already good enough that he knew so much. After Lin Xian heard this, his heart trembled. He realized that the Black Dragon cult was too powerful. Any random hall master could sweep through several countries. Moreover, he knew that there was a hall called the Purple Demon Hall, which was very similar to the Purple Demon Palace. Recently, the Nether Hall had been very active. Moreover, there was a suspicious sect like the Purple Demon Palace. Could it be that the Black Dragon cult was going to revive? Lin Xian was shocked. If such a force revived, it would definitely cause trouble for the entire continent. The Black Dragon cult wasn't kind. Once they revived, there would definitely be a great war. It was useless to think about this now. It was better to increase his strength first. Lin Xian sighed. Then, he put away the blue-haired man and started to cultivate. 5 days passed quickly. On this day, the bald man brought a few followers to the volcano cultivation room. They asked Lin Xian about the cultivation time and waited patiently outside. The martial artists who came and went were puzzled. Many of them secretly guessed that the Xing clan was waiting for some big shot. However, when they saw the bald man welcome Lin Xian, they almost bit off their tongues. For a moment, many martial artists were very curious about Lin Xian's identity. Fourth sky of the spiritual sea realm. Is that normal? Why would the Xing clan be so humble? Many people were puzzled. Lord Lin, everything is here. Please take a look. The bald man handed over a storage ring. Lin Xian scanned it with his soul power and found that it was all the spirit herbs he was looking for. He nodded with satisfaction. Oh right, where can I find high-grade fire attribute spirit herbs in the fire province? Lin Xian asked. High-grade fire attribute spirit herbs? The bald man was slightly stunned. Then he said, there is a piece of news. Is it true? Speak. Lin Xian said in a deep voice. It's like this. Recently, a piece of news has been spreading in the city. It is said that there is a volcano 500 miles north of Flame City. There is a bright glow and a strange fragrance. Many people think that it is a peerless spirit herb. Multicolored light, strange fragrance. Lin Xian rubbed his chin, somewhat convinced. Big head Xing, your Xing family has really declined. Actually speaking so humbly to a piece of trash in the 4th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. A mocking voice rang out. It was extremely ear-piercing. The bald burly man raised his head abruptly and said coldly, Lai Wu, how dare you speak rudely to Lord Lin? You're courting death. Lord Lin, what bullshit, Lord? That voice was filled with disdain. Lin Xian raised his head and stared coldly ahead. There was a red-robed young man standing there. He held a folding fan in his hand and looked at the bald man and Lin Xian with disdain. The 6th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. Is this what gives you the right to be so arrogant? The corner of Lin Xian's mouth raised slightly. It's enough to deal with you. I can crush you to death as easily as crushing an ant. The red-robed youth waved his fan and said arrogantly, Lai Wu, you're courting death. Big Head Xing sneered. Our Lord Lin is a 2nd-grade inscription master. Quickly kowtow and admit your mistake. 2nd-grade inscription master. The surrounding martial artists were stunned. That was an existence comparable to a harmonious spirit realm martial artist. Really? Isn't he too young? The crowd was in disbelief. Lai Wu froze, then laughed loudly. I say, Big Head Xing, will you die if you don't brag? If he's a 2nd-grade inscription master, then I'm a harmonious spirit realm martial artist. Lai Wu was extremely arrogant, laughing until tears came out. But soon he couldn't laugh anymore, and his somewhat handsome face became extremely ugly, because he saw Lin Xian slowly put on his silver-white robe. The 2 golden lines on his chest were like sharp blades stabbing into his heart. You. Lai Wu opened his mouth but couldn't say anything. The surrounding martial artists were also shocked, looking at Lin Xian with disbelief. This was probably the youngest 2nd-grade inscription master they had ever seen. Lai Wu, quickly admit your mistake to Lord Lin. The bald man coldly shouted. The red-robed youth's expression was conflicted, and he was stunned for a moment. 2nd-grade inscription master, is he that great? A slightly frivolous voice sounded. Everyone was stunned. There was actually someone who dared to challenge a 2nd-grade inscription master. He was too bold. Big Head Xing frowned, and just as he was about to shout, he was stopped by Lin Xian. Under everyone's attention, a devilish man appeared. He was wearing a purple robe, with a handsome face and fair skin, but his lips were as red as blood. Many people wiped the cold sweat from their foreheads, feeling their hearts palpitate. It's someone from the Purple Extreme Devil Palace. Zhao Shui transmitted. The third in the younger generation of the Purple Extreme Devil Palace, Ru Shui. Lin Xian was secretly on guard. His intuition told him that the man in front of him was very dangerous. Lord Ru Shui, you came at the right time. Lai Wu seemed to have seen his savior, so why did he walk to Ru Shui's side? Since I'm here, I can guarantee that you'll be fine. Ru Shui's red lips did not move, but a feminine voice came out. Humph, so what if you're a second-grade inscription master? In front of Lord Ru Shui, you're nothing. Lai Wu became arrogant again. Is that so? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and stared at Lai Wu. Buzz! Lai Wu's body trembled and he felt dizzy. The scene around him changed, and countless swords pierced through his heart. That kind of pain made him groan. Pa! A hand was placed on his body, pulling him back from the illusion. Lai Wu's whole body was covered in sweat, and his face was abnormally pale. He looked at Lin Xian in horror. Your opponent is me. Ru Shui's mouth curved into a sinister smile, and his lips became even more red, as if blood was about to drip out. Ding! Bang! Crack! Both of their gazes met, and sparks flew in the air, causing the void to tremble. The two of you are not allowed to fight in the cultivation area, so I hope that the two of you can control yourselves. A vast and mighty spirit energy fluctuation came, as if 10,000 mountains were pressing down on everyone's hearts. It's a harmonious spirit realm expert. Someone shouted in a low voice. Lin Xian's eyes flashed. He felt that the energy did not really descend, and it was only a warning. After fighting with the Tsang family's great elder, Lin Xian knew how terrifying a harmonious spirit realm expert was. He did not want to fight with such a person right now, and there was no need for him to offend the volcano cultivation area. Sorry for the disturbance, I will take my leave now, Lin Xian said in a clear voice, and then left with Zhao Shui. On the other side, Ru Shui looked at Lin Xian, and his eyes revealed a trace of coldness. Let's go, don't delay our business. Ru Shui smiled evilly. Hearing this, Lai Wu nodded. My father is ready, why don't you follow me back? Ru Shui's sleeve shook, and he turned into a cloud of blood mist and left. After they left, the surrounding people let out a sigh of relief. That demonic man is so scary. Someone patted his chest and said, that young man called Master Lin is not simple either. Such a young second-grade inscription master. He is definitely a monstrous existence. I heard that a divine medicine has appeared in the north. Do you think that these people will appear? That's for sure. Someone was excited. I have to go back and prepare, I can't miss such a good thing. Chapter 217. After traveling a few hundred miles, Lin Xian stopped in his tracks. In front of him was a group of volcanoes that towered into the clouds. A few of them were still emitting smoke. Feeling the rising temperature in the air, Lin Xian's eyes narrowed and he became cautious. With his purple spiritual eyes, he could clearly see that there were many warriors at the foot of the volcano. Among them, there were a few powerful auras that made his heart palpitate. It seems that the news is most likely true, Zhao Shui said softly. Let's go and take a look. Lin Xian's footsteps swayed as he quickly ran forward. At the foot of the volcano, the ground was cracked and the heat was unbearable. It was like a huge furnace that was roasting everything. There were many warriors nearby. Among them, the most powerful were the Xing and Lai families. The two families each occupied an area and were eyeing covetously. There were also many idle warriors who were wandering around, waiting for the right opportunity. With the Xing and Lai families here, we have no chance, someone complained softly. What do you know? Another warrior shouted. Such a treasure has already alerted the other forces in the Fire Province. When the time comes, not only the Xing and Lai families, even the entire Blazing City won't be able to compete. How is that possible? Someone asked. If the Earth Fire sect comes, will you be afraid? Many warriors shut their mouths. That was a third-grade sect, a giant in the Great Xia country. Who wouldn't be afraid? Someone is coming. Many warriors woke up from their meditation and looked toward the entrance. Two silhouettes could be seen rushing over. Their speed was so fast that it was frightening. Swish! The two of them stopped in their tracks and looked around cautiously. The crowd looked at their silver robes and was slightly shocked. They are from the Inscription Union. Some warriors took a deep breath, following which many people exclaimed. Some even stood up. This was because they saw two golden tattoos on the chest of one of the young men. A second-grade inscription master. Many warriors were shocked. They couldn't imagine that a young man would have such a terrifying identity. Immediately, people from the Xing and Lai families walked out and clasped their fists at Lin Xian. This young man was naturally Lin Xian. He returned the greeting and brought Zhao Shui to a clean rock to rest. Wuji. The snow-white monkey jumped out and looked around curiously with its big black gem-like eyes. Suddenly, its nose twitched, and an intoxicated expression appeared on its face. After making a bunch of gestures to Lin Xian, the little white monkey disappeared with a whoosh. Lin Xian didn't mind at all. The little white monkey was far more shrewd than he thought, so he wasn't worried. His eyes flickered as he looked at the volcano ahead. As time passed, the bald man from the Xing family arrived. Not long after, Lai Wu and Ru Shui also arrived. The latter stared at Lin Xian, and the coldness in his eyes grew even stronger. Lin Xian ignored the provocative gaze. If the other party really dared to make a move, he wouldn't mind giving them a taste of their own medicine. The people from the Inscription Union are here. Suddenly, someone called out in a low voice. Silhouettes flashed, and more than 10 white-robed warriors appeared in front of everyone. Immediately, a tyrannical pressure emerged in the air. Elder Song didn't come, and the leaders were Attendant Wang and Attendant Meng. Behind them were Huang Shanshan and some other young disciples. When Attendant Wang saw Lin Xian on the giant rock, his face lit up with joy, and he led everyone over. Seniors. Lin Xian smiled and greeted Huang Shanshan. You are already a second-grade inscription master. From now on we can address each other as equals. Attendant Wang shook his head and smiled. Lin Xian smiled. This was a world where strength was respected, and the age issue could be ignored. In other words, if Lin Xian was a harmonious spirit realm warrior, then these people would respectfully call him senior. Without dwelling on this issue, Lin Xian quickly asked, "What's the situation here? It should be the birth of a spirit herb, but we can't rule out other possibilities." Attendant Wang said in a deep voice, "I don't think there will be any harmonious spirit realm old monsters." Oh, Lin Xian's heart skipped a beat. That kind of expert's destructive power is too great. I think the whole mountain will be destroyed with just one attack. Moreover, almost every force has a harmonious spirit realm expert behind them. If they want to fight, everyone will do it. Instead of that, it's better to not fight and leave it to the younger generation. This way the younger generation can also be trained. Lin Xian nodded in agreement. The destructive power of a harmonious spirit realm warrior was too great, and he had experienced it firsthand. In the following time, more and more forces arrived, and a strange fragrance floated in the air. Half of the volcano was shrouded in multicolored light. Wuji. Suddenly, a snow-white figure flashed across the sky and ran directly into Lin Xian's arms. Swoosh. Behind it, there were a few figures with sharp auras. Swoosh. With a flash, a cute girl appeared. Her beautiful big eyes stared at the snow-white little monkey in Lin Xian's arms, and she frowned slightly. "Hey, is that monkey yours? Are you selling it?" the girl asked in a sweet voice. Wuji. The snow-white little monkey jumped out. Its expression was full of disdain, and it kept gesturing something. What is it saying? The crowd was puzzled. I am the one and only in the world. I cannot be measured by money. Lin Xian shrugged and translated for the little monkey. Many people looked at the palm-sized monkey with a strange expression, and they couldn't help but laugh. "Little monkey, I have a spirit fruit for you." The cute girl took out a fist-sized fruit and shook it at the little monkey. The fruit was crystal clear. It was obviously not an ordinary fruit. Immediately, many people's eyes flashed, and they stared at the cute girl with an unfriendly expression. The cute girl didn't seem to feel those gazes. She saw the little monkey take 2 steps forward, and then took out an agate-like fruit. Whoosh! Many people's breathing became rapid, and most of them stared at the spirit fruit in the cute girl's hand. Humph! A cold snort was heard, and it exploded in everyone's ears, waking many of them up. Unknowingly, a short old man appeared behind the cute girl. His body emitted a dangerous aura. Everyone's body trembled, and the evil thoughts in their hearts instantly disappeared. The cute girl didn't seem to know anything, and she continued to call out to the little monkey. Swish! The little monkey couldn't resist the temptation, and it jumped onto the cute girl's body. It smiled and hugged the spirit fruit to eat. Everyone had different expressions, and their eyes were filled with envy. Many people wished they could become monkeys and pounce on it. The cute girl glanced at Lin Xian provocatively, and a light snort came from her delicate little nose. If it wants to go with you, I won't stop it. Lin Xian shrugged. The short old man behind the cute girl looked at Lin Xian in surprise, as if he didn't expect this young man to be so straightforward. The cute girl hugged the little monkey and sat to the side, her face full of joy. Chapter 218. It's the people from the Earth Fire sect. The crowd panicked and retreated. From this point one could see how terrifying a 3-star sect was. Just the arrival of a disciple could cause such a huge commotion. There were a total of 6 people from the Earth Fire sect. One of them was tall and had flames dancing on his body like a fire god. Meng Yan. Many warriors swallowed their saliva secretly and looked at the fire-like man with fear. That was the genius warrior ranked first on the hidden dragon roll. Lin Xian stared at the fire-red figure and was slightly surprised. He realized that Meng Yan's aura had become stronger, as expected of the first on the hidden dragon roll. This cultivation speed is indeed terrifying. I wonder how strong Lin Feng is now? Lin Xian's heart sank as he felt the pressure again. I must get the spiritual medicine this time. Lin Xian's eyes flashed. Growing in this volcano, it must be a fire attribute spiritual medicine. It was just what he needed. With this fire attribute spiritual medicine, he could let the wine lord refine spiritual wine and improve his cultivation. Thinking of this, Lin Xian's eyes gradually became fiery. The warriors from the Earth Fire sect found a comfortable place and sat down. Among them, Meng Yan saw Lin Xian in a silver robe and narrowed his eyes. Rank 2 Inscription Master. He whispered, and there seemed to be flames dancing in his eyes. Nodding slightly, Meng Yan greeted Lin Xian. Lin Xian also responded with a smile. Is he Lin Xian? Isn't he a sword cultivator? How did he become an inscription master? A fair-faced youth beside Meng Yan wondered. It's getting more and more interesting. I'm looking forward to the moment when he and Lin Feng duel. Meng Yan's flames danced as if he had thought of something interesting. Humph. No matter how powerful Sword Pool Manor is, they are still suppressed by us. The youth said disdainfully. One day I will defeat them all. Meng Yan looked at the youth beside him and warned. You promised the sect leader to listen to me. That's why I let you out. Don't cause trouble for me. Don't worry, eldest senior brother. That youth smiled and said, Dad is really too much. I'm not a child. This youth was actually the child of the Earth Fire sect master. This was something that no one could have imagined. Hey, what a smart little monkey. The young man's eyes lit up when he saw the little white monkey in the distance. Beauty, my name is Zhu Hao. How should I address you? Everyone was stunned. They never thought that an Earth Fire sect martial artist would strike up a conversation like this. The short old man behind the cute girl stared at Zhu Hao with an unfriendly expression. His eyes were filled with warning. However, it was obvious that Zhu Hao had overlooked it. Annoyed by the stare, the cute girl frowned and said, Zhang Rue. Good name. Zhu Hao shouted, then laughed strangely. Your monkey is not bad, how about you sell it to me? Black lines appeared on everyone's forehead. Wasn't this target changing too quickly? Zhang Rue pouted and snorted. Not selling. After saying that, she hugged the little white monkey even tighter. I have something good. Zhu Hao ignored the cute girl and took out 2 bright red fruits, shaking them continuously. Everyone felt dizzy. There was an extremely familiar feeling. Swoosh! The little white monkey's body flashed and jumped onto Zhu Hao's body, making woo-ji-ji noises. Everyone was stunned and looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian smiled faintly and did not say anything. Damn monkey, you're ungrateful. Zhang Rue said angrily. Woo-ji-ji. The little white monkey ate the spiritual fruits while showing an aggrieved expression. Kept gesturing something. Humph. Speaking of spiritual fruits, I have some too. Zhang Ruyue said angrily. She flipped her hand and took out a few high-grade spiritual fruits. The snow-white little monkey ate happily, and its pair of big eyes narrowed into the shape of a crescent moon. Everyone's eyes were burning. They wished that they could be a monkey too. Meng Yan looked at Zhang Ruyue and revealed a surprised expression. He knew that Zhu Hao had a special identity and had many spiritual fruits on him. However, the girl in front of him did not lose to Zhu Hao at all. After thinking for a long time, he could not guess her identity. At this time, the little white monkey's belly was bulging and it kept burping. It waved its little paws at Zhang Ruyue and Zhu Hao. The little white monkey turned into a white light and returned to Lin Xian's side. Wu Jiji. The little white monkey sat on Lin Xian's shoulder and took out a few spiritual fruits and handed them to Lin Xian. You're full. Is this mine? Lin Xian said with a smile. You bastard. Zhu Hao and Zhang Ruyue jumped up and stared at Lin Xian unkindly. Give me the little monkey. You're a bad guy. Everyone was stunned. When they thought of Lin Xian's indifference, they seemed to have thought of something. Even the people of the Inscription Union looked at Lin Xian in surprise. They did not expect things to turn out this way. I said that if it's willing to follow you, I won't stop it, Lin Xian said in a low voice. Now it seems that it's not willing to go with you. Nonsense. I'm so handsome. How can it not like me? Zhu Hao's face was cold. That's right. I have a lot of spiritual fruits. Zhang Ruyue said angrily. Swoosh. With a flash, the little white monkey directly entered the storage ring and went to sleep. Humph. Give me the little monkey. Zhu Hao was arrogant and had never suffered such a loss. He stomped his feet and the ground bulged slightly. A hot current rushed out quickly. Retreat. Deacon Wang and Deacon Meng's faces changed. They quickly led the disciples around them to dodge. Lin Xian's eyes narrowed and he floated to a place where there was no one. Boom! The ground cracked and a red light beam rushed out. The place where Lin Xian and the others were standing turned into a sea of fire. The surrounding cultivators sucked in a breath of cold air as they looked at Zhu Hao with fear. Who would have thought that this young man had such terrifying attack power? This attack has the power of the sixth sky of the spiritual ocean tier? Everyone retreated, afraid of being affected. Swish. After his attack failed, Zhu Hao's body flashed and rushed toward Lin Xian. Great Flame Steel Fist. He threw out a punch and his arm turned into a glazed color. Flame soared into the sky and heat waves swept in all directions. A terrifying aura rushed toward Lin Xian. Sixth sky of the spiritual ocean tier. Lin Xian was surprised. He did not expect this young man's cultivation to be so high. He glanced at Meng Yan and saw that the latter was not worried at all. With such strength, he would probably be in the top 20 of the hidden dragon roll. No wonder Meng Yan was not worried. Lin Xian smiled. Just in time to test the power of the copper thunder pattern. Without any intention of dodging, Lin Xian stretched out his right hand. His 5 fingers formed a claw as he grabbed at the fiery red fist. Everyone was stunned. Lin Xian's aura was only at the 4th sky of the spiritual ocean tier. It was very unwise to fight a martial artist at the 6th sky of the spiritual ocean tier. What is Lin Xian thinking? Deacon Meng and the other martial artists of the Inscription Union changed their expressions. On the other side, the martial artists of the Earthfire sect sneered when they saw this scene. Chapter 219. The Earthfire sect warriors looked at Lin Xian with disdain. When Zhu Hao saw Lin Xian's actions, he was also taken aback. However, his fists still shot out quickly. Get lost! He shouted. This is not something you can handle. Lin Xian's expression did not change as he quickly reached out with his palm. Boom! 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 A shockwave exploded, shattering the surrounding mountain rocks. Everyone looked over anxiously, and many of them exclaimed. Among them, the Earthfire sect had the biggest reaction. A few warriors stood up with looks of disbelief. How can you handle it? Zhu Hao's face was pale. His fist was tightly gripped and he could not move. In the arena, Lin Xian stood with a smile. One of his palms blocked the fiery red fist, neutralizing the violent punch. Open! Zhu Hao suddenly exerted his strength. The spiritual energy in his body surged like flames. Stimulated by the flames, Lin Xian's body surface was covered in copper lightning patterns. It was extremely mysterious and emitted a terrifying energy. What move is this? The crowd did not understand as they looked curiously at Lin Xian. When Meng Yan saw the lightning, his eyes narrowed, revealing a grave expression. Zhu Hao did not give up. His left fist quickly struck towards Lin Xian's lower ribs. At such a close distance, there was no time to defend. The fiery red fist was like a small sun, bursting with dazzling light. Boom! A loud sound was heard. Flames danced and lightning overflowed. The ground cracked and the earth trembled. Magma spewed out from the surroundings. Humph! After receiving such a heavy attack, he's definitely dead, Lai Wu said hatefully. Beside him, Ru Shui had a sinister smile on his face. No one knew what he was thinking. Ouch! It hurts! An exasperated voice was heard, with a hint of indignation. Hearing this voice, the Earthfire sect disciples' expressions changed. Even Meng Yan stood up. Whoosh! A figure flew out and landed near the Earthfire sect. He continued to retreat, and every step he took left a terrifying footprint on the ground. Meng Yan reached out and caught the figure. Pain, pain. Zhu Hao's face fell as he kept rubbing his fists. Everyone was stunned and looked at Lin Xian in horror. The scene just now was blocked by the magma, so they didn't know what had happened. Lai Wu looked at Lin Xian with fear in his eyes. His blood-red eyes flashed and a rare solemn expression appeared on his face. The people of the Inscription Alliance were the most horrified. They had sensed the scene with their souls, and a horrified expression appeared on their faces. Just now, Zhu Hao's fist had landed squarely on Lin Xian's body. However, it didn't cause any damage. Not only that, it even injured Zhu Hao. This kind of method was too terrifying. Even a martial artist at the sixth sky of the spiritual ocean tier couldn't injure Lin Xian, which was hard to believe. What a powerful copper thunder pattern! Lin Xian was excited. He had risked his life to snatch the thunder python skin from a harmonious spirit expert and successfully refine the copper thunder mark. Now it was finally showing its effect. He estimated that ordinary martial artists below the seventh sky of the spiritual ocean tier wouldn't be able to injure him. Lin Xian had a rough guess in his heart. However, this was only limited to ordinary martial arts. For some genius martial artists who had comprehended sword intent or concept, it was very likely to injure them. However, this didn't affect the power of the copper thunder pattern. After all, there were only a small number of such martial artists. How powerful would the silver thunder pattern and gold thunder pattern be? Lin Xian didn't dare to imagine. I'll teach you a lesson. Seeing Lin Xian smile, Zhang Ruyue was instantly enraged. Her delicate face was covered with coldness. Her graceful body flashed and disappeared from the spot. So fast. Everyone was shocked again. They couldn't see Zhang Ruyue's movement at all. Swoosh! Lin Xian used the wind thunder step and disappeared from the spot. In the next moment he reappeared in another place. Damn it, don't run! Zhang Ruyue shouted angrily as she missed. Lin Xian rubbed his chin helplessly and nodded. Alright, I won't run. I'll beat you to death, you big liar. Zhang Ruyue formed a strange seal with her palms and raised it above her head. A simple and unadorned water bottle appeared in her hand. Thousands of rays of light fell from the bottle. A vicissitude aura rushed over, causing everyone's eyelids to twitch. What kind of move is this? It's so terrifying. The martial artists in the surroundings ran far away. Aquarius seal. Zhang Ruyue shouted. She held the Aquarius in her hand and struck out a powerful attack. A silver waterfall flew towards Lin Xian like an upside-down waterfall. Wherever it passed, the mountain was sliced in half. Clang! Clang! The silver waterfall slashed on Lin Xian's body, creating a string of sparks. The lightning on the surface of Lin Xian's body shone brightly as streaks of mysterious lightning patterns appeared, forming a strong defense that forcefully blocked the silver waterfall. Break! Lin Xian bellowed and punched out with his fist. With a flash of lightning, it collided with the silver ribbon. Crack! 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 Like a mirror, the silver waterfall shattered into countless pieces. What a perverted defense! Zhang Ruyue cursed softly. What a tortoise shell! If you're done, go back. I don't have time to play with you, Lin Xian said indifferently. You Zhang Ruyue was furious. Who's done? Well, attack together, Zhu Hao said with a cold face. The two of them turned into two rays of light and rushed towards Lin Xian. At the same time they struck out a powerful attack. Lin Xian stomped his feet on the ground. Lightning turned into dragons and surged under his feet. The terrifying force caused the ground to crack. Rumble. Within a radius of 50 meters, the ground cracked into countless pieces. Magma gushed out from the ground and emitted a terrifying heat wave. At the same time, the dragons formed by lightning roared at the sky. Their momentum shook the heavens and sent Zhu Hao and Zhang Ruyue flying. Swoosh! Swoosh! Meng Yan caught Zhu Hao. The short old man also retreated with Zhang Ruyue. The magma under the ground kept rolling and flowing in all directions. While everyone was avoiding the magma, they looked at Lin Xian in horror and kept swallowing their saliva. Wasn't he an inscription master? How could he have such a strong physique? Everyone was puzzled. After a while everything calmed down. The magma under the ground flowed out and revealed a hole. It was dark and exuded a terrifying heat. No one knew where it led to. Hey, there's a fragrance. Is the spiritual medicine inside? The martial artists of the Inscription Union were puzzled. They were the most sensitive to the smell of spiritual medicine. Deacon Wang and Deacon Meng looked at each other and did not dare to make a decision. Lin Xian, what do you think? Deacon Wang asked. As long as there's a chance, I'll go down and investigate. Lin Xian's voice was firm. The fire attribute spiritual medicine was very important to him, so he would not give it up. The martial artists of the other forces were also discussing with each other. Wuji Wuji. The little white monkey jumped out and grabbed Lin Xian's clothes, shaking it constantly. Got it. Lin Xian rubbed its head and said to Deacon Wang and the others, Seniors, I'll go in first. Chapter 220. After entering the underground tunnel, Lin Xian felt a heat wave rush towards him. The temperature was over 1,000 degrees. The lightning patterns on his body glowed, forming a lightning defense that enveloped Lin Xian. He was like a shooting star falling down quickly. Outside, a group of martial artists had uncertain gazes. We can't let that kid reap the benefits. Let's go in quickly. Earthfire Sect, Lai Family and other forces quickly jumped in. On the Inscription Alliance's side, Attendant Wang and Attendant Meng looked at each other and made a decision. The underground is dangerous. Disciples below the 5th layer of the spiritual ocean tier shouldn't go. A few disciples walked out and stood to the side. Although they were unwilling, they knew it was for their own good. Because the heat wave alone wasn't something they could withstand. The others followed the two attendants and jumped down. Pung! Lin Xian landed on a rock stratum, and countless cracks appeared. He used purple spirit eyes to observe the surroundings. Wuji Wuji! The snow-white monkey jumped onto his shoulder, pointing ahead and calling out non-stop. Okay, I'll listen to you. Lin Xian smiled and rushed forward quickly. The ground was covered with fiery red magma. Stepping on it made a sizzling sound. Lin Xian raised his speed to the maximum and quickly passed through the scorching hot zone. Gradually, red plants appeared on both sides of the road, with agate-like fruits growing on them. It's fire Bodhi, Wine Lord said in surprise. Little Xian picked more. Wine Lord, I want to brew wine. Lin Xian stopped in his tracks and quickly picked them up. These fruits had a very high temperature. If Lin Xian didn't have the copper thunder pattern, it would be difficult to pick them. On the other side, the snow-white monkey was also busy. A white light flashed and a red fruit on a vine was gone. After a while, over 20 fire Bodhi fruits were all picked. Lin Xian set off again. Not long after he left, the large group behind him arrived. There are plants, Lai Family's martial artist exclaimed. This is an obvious sign that it has been plucked. Could it have been plucked by that brat? The faces of the martial artists were gloomy, and the Earthfire Sect martial artists were even more furious. They were fire attribute martial artists, so these fruits were like holy fruits to them. But now they could only watch helplessly. Speed up, Meng Yan said in a low voice. He led the Earthfire Sect members and transformed into a beam of light as they quickly left. Let's go quickly. We can't let Lin Xian get hurt. The people of the Inscription Alliance also rushed forward quickly. On the side of the Lai family, Ru Shui left the group and turned into a bloody mist, disappearing quickly. The last ones to arrive were Jiang Ruyue and the Short Elder. It's actually a fire Bodhi. The Short Elder was astonished. Then, he transplanted a few fire vines and put them into his storage ring. Jiang Ruyue blinked her big eyes and waited quietly for the old man. A moment later, the two of them set off again. There were 3 forks in the road ahead. Lin Xian's eyes flashed as he used his soul force to probe ahead. In the end, the 3 paths were exactly the same for at least 100 meters. Wuji wuji. The little white monkey pointed at the path ahead with a confident look. Lin Xian did not hesitate. His body flashed and disappeared into the path. Not long after, the people behind also arrived at the intersection. Damn it, there are 3 paths. The Lai family members cursed. Let's split up. They split into 3 groups and entered the 3 paths. The Earthfire sect disciples looked at Meng Yan and waited for his decision. Zhu Hao and I will take one path. The rest of you don't split up and take the other path. Then he led Zhu Hao into the path on the right. Let's take the left path. The remaining Earthfire sect disciples said. The few of them also quickly disappeared. Whoosh! A ball of bloody mist suddenly appeared and transformed into a human figure. Rushue licked her red lips and sensed the aura left in the air. Then she sneered and entered the path ahead. The people of the Inscription Alliance also split into 2 groups and walked into the left and right paths. Finally, the Short Elder and Jiang Ruyue entered the path ahead. Lin Xian's path was unimpeded as he sped forward. On the ground, he discovered many red crystals that contained a surge of energy. This is a fire crystal. This is even more precious than a medium spiritual stone, Wine Lord said. Since it was a good item, Lin Xian would not be polite. He waved his sleeves and took away all the fire crystal on the ground. Suddenly, his eyebrows twitched as he sensed a faint aura coming from behind him. Purple Extreme Demon Palace. Lin Xian sneered when he sensed the dark yin qi. Qi, qi, qi. Countless red threads flew out like fine sword marks and pierced toward Lin Xian. Lin Xian turned around and punched out. Thunder roared and the fierce power of thunder formed a thunder dragon that swept in all directions. The dark red threads were all broken and drowned by the sea of thunder. Whoosh! The moment Lin Xian punched out, a cloud of red mist appeared behind him. A pale hand held a demonic dagger and stabbed toward his back. Ding! Lin Xian's copper thunder rune shone brightly and dense thunder runes appeared on his body. At the same time, he twisted his body and swept his right leg behind him like a heavenly blade. The dagger was blocked by the copper thunder rune and turned into a blood mist again. Lin Xian's right leg passed through the blood mist without causing any damage. Whoosh! Whoosh! The blood mist rolled and Blood Red's body appeared. Blood seemed to be dripping from his red lips. It was extremely seductive. Fire! He opened his mouth for the first time. As if there was an invisible magic, flames suddenly burst out from both sides of the path. In an instant, the path turned into a sea of fire. Illusion! Lin Xian was alert. He had only seen eye techniques before. He did not expect to see another soul technique this time. The sea of fire surged as if it was going to devour Lin Xian. Whoosh! A sword light rushed up and cut the sea of fire in half. Soul Sword! Blood Red was shocked for the first time. Fire Beast Blood Devour! A drop of blood seemed to float out from his red lips and fell into the sea of fire. Roar! Suddenly a low roar sounded. Dozens of ferocious and terrifying demonic beasts appeared in the surroundings. Flames danced on their bodies and huge beast claws pounced toward Lin Xian. The soul sword waved again and killed all the demonic beasts near him. However, more and more flaming demonic beasts pounced over. Sword Spirit Space. Lin Xian's right eye shone and formed an independent spiritual world that sucked in all the demonic beasts in the sea of fire. The soul sword stabbed out again and quickly slashed toward Blood Red. Poof! Blood Red did not expect Lin Xian's soul attack to be so exquisite. It could actually destroy his flaming demonic beasts in an instant. Due to his carelessness, he was injured. His body shook and the fire world retreated. Blood Red stood in front of him with a pale face. Let me show you my blood demon technique. Chapter 221. A drop of blood appeared in the air, carrying with it an endless murderous aura. Rushue's arm swayed as she whispered. The blood spread quickly, forming a strange pattern. Blood demon, come out! A low roar reverberated in the air, causing the void to vibrate with a buzzing sound. The pattern in the air shone brightly, emitting a dazzling red light. Then a blood-red arm stretched out like a demon from hell. Finally, a ferocious blood demon appeared in front of Lin Xian. The blood demon was shaped like a human, but it had 4 arms and a horn on its head. Blood dripped from its body. Wuxia stood in the distance, her red lips slightly opened, emitting a strange sound wave. Buzz! The blood demon suddenly moved, charging at Lin Xian. Its 4 arms kept waving, forming a sky full of fist shadows. Lin Xian punched out like thunder. The terrifying energy smashed into the blood demon's body, creating ripples. A bowl-sized hole appeared on its body, but most of Lin Xian's fist power was absorbed by the flowing liquid on the blood demon's body. Moreover, the hole was healing quickly. Not only that, but the blood demon's greatest characteristic was that it was not afraid of pain. It's a killing machine. Roar! The blood demon roared, and its 4 arms formed different shapes, forming a huge attack. Bang! Boom! Clang! Lin Xian attacked with all his might, clashing with the blood demon. Terrifying energy spread in all directions. For a moment the two were in a deadlock. Hee hee! I'm going to take your head. Wuxia laughed evilly. Humph! Purple Extreme Demon Palace is nothing more than this. Lin Xian sneered. Lightning storm. Golden electric arcs surged and strong winds blew. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. The blood demon was hit by the lightning and screamed. Sizzle! Sizzle! Like ice meeting fire, it kept melting. Under the effect of the golden electric arcs, terrifying wounds appeared on the blood demon's body. Whoosh! The blood demon retreated and stood beside Wuxia. Impossible! My blood demon is not afraid of ordinary lightning. Wuxia's face darkened as she looked at the golden electric arcs with fear. How dare you hurt my blood demon? I'll kill you. I've already killed quite a few disciples of the Purple Extreme Devil Palace. One more won't make a difference. Lin Xian said disdainfully. Show me what you've got. What? How dare you kill a disciple of my Devil Palace? Wuxia's pupils shrank. I want to drink your blood, eat your flesh, and make you fall into hell forever. Fuse! His body swayed and turned into a cloud of blood mist that fused into the blood demon's body. Wang! Wang! In an instant, 2 cold glints appeared in the blood demon's eye sockets. Ka-ka-ka! The blood demon shook its body, and the wound caused by the golden lightning arc quickly healed. Not only that, the aura on his body was much more powerful, almost reaching the 7th layer of the spiritual ocean tier. Now I won't be afraid of your golden lightning anymore. Obediently accept your death. Wuxia laughed nastily and his body turned into a bloody afterimage. Whoosh! In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of Lin Xian. His 4 arms danced quickly, and a terrifying attack enveloped Lin Xian's entire body. Hong long long. Golden lightning surged out and turned into a lightning beast, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. It's useless. Wuxia laughed loudly. He clenched his fists and punched the lightning beast, smashing it into pieces. Lin Xian frowned, and his eyes gradually became fierce. In the next moment, a sword light flashed. Like a graceful swan, it turned into a strange arc in the air. Ah! Wuxia screamed and retreated in horror. This is sword intent. Damn it, you're a sword cultivator. A terrifying sword mark appeared on his chest, almost splitting him in half. Let's end this. Lin Xian's sword intent kept rising. The dragon-shaped mark in his body glowed, and a dragon head roared. Chi! A sword slashed out, as if a dragon's roar sounded. The sword light was extremely fast, and instantly enveloped Wuxia. Pew-pew-pew. Countless sword lights appeared in all directions, sharp to the extreme. 3 of Wuxia's 4 arms were broken, and his chest was hit again. No, I don't want to die. Blood demon body disintegration technique. Wuxia shouted in horror. The blood demon exploded, forming thousands of bloodlines that rushed in all directions. Many of them drilled into the ground and stone walls, disappearing. Lin Xian did not attack again. That sword strike had severely injured Wuxia, and he would not be able to fight for at least half a year. He put away his long sword and continued to walk forward. At that moment, there was a sudden sound of something breaking through the air behind him. Lin Xian stopped and turned around. Whoosh! Whoosh! Two figures landed. It was Zhang Ruyue and the short old man. The short old man looked at the sword marks around him and felt the remaining aura in the air. He said in a low voice, "What a sharp sword intent. Humph, big liar." Zhang Ruyue snorted. "I'm not a liar." Lin Xian touched his chin and said with a smile, "I didn't expect you to be a sword cultivator. The younger generation will surpass us in time." The short old man looked at Lin Xian and praised. "You flatter me." Lin Xian smiled. "It's dangerous ahead. Why don't we go together?" He could see that the short old man had no ill intentions. Lin Xian also felt that Zhang Ruyu's identity was not simple. After all, not everyone could take out a handful of spiritual fruits to feed a monkey. "All right." The short old man smiled. Zhang Ruyue, on the other hand, pouted angrily. She looked unhappy. The three of them moved forward quickly and finally reached the end. There was a thick wall in front of them blocking their way. "It's a dead end?" The short old man was surprised. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He observed carefully and found that the wall was unusually thick. Whoosh! He picked up the little white monkey and pinched its face with his fingers. "There's no way out. What should we do?" The snow-white monkey's face was distorted. It grunted in dissatisfaction and jumped into Zhang Ruyu's arms. "Wooji wooji." The monkey gestured. "What did it say?" Zhang Ruyue hugged the monkey and asked. "It said it's behind this wall." Lin Xian shrugged. Then, the three of them began to search carefully. The short old man and Lin Xian even began to bombard the wall. However, the two of them did not dare to use too much strength. If the tunnel was destroyed, they would be doomed. "Is there a mechanism?" Lin Xian was puzzled. "There's no mechanism. Let's go around it." Wine Lord transmitted his voice. "Go around it?" Lin Xian was puzzled. "You know about the gopher, right?" Wine Lord did not say much. Lin Xian's mouth twitched. He smiled bitterly. "Why don't we dig a hole?" In the other two tunnels, everyone was attacked by underground creatures. The tunnel on the left had countless fire lizards while the one on the right had fire scorpions. After all, Lin Xian's tunnel was the safest. However, the martial artists on both sides rushed out of the tunnel after a bloody battle. A vast underground world appeared in front of everyone. There were magma ravines and strange rocks. Heat waves surged out from time to time. There was a huge magma pool in the middle. It was bubbling and emitting a scorching heat. In the middle of the magma pool, there was a huge rock with a fiery red plant growing on it. Chapter 222. Everyone's eyes were burning as they stared at the red fruit on the lava. "Dragon fruit!" A warrior from the Lai family exclaimed as he clenched his fists tightly. Meng Yan's eyes lit up as if he had thought of something. His lips curled into a smile. He carefully stared at the red fruit in the distance. The fruit was oval-shaped with 4 protrusions on its skin, like 4 coiled dragons. "It really is the fire dragon fruit." Meng Yan's expression was burning. Zhu Hao was pleasantly surprised. "This is a 6th grade spirit fruit." Dragon fruit, a 6th grade spirit fruit. It was an extremely precious spirit fruit even in Xia country. He didn't expect to see it here. "Get ready." A warrior from the Lai family shouted in a low voice. In an instant, 3 figures rushed out quickly. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The 3 figures had powerful auras as they turned into light and flew out quickly. "How dare you!" When the martial artists of the other forces saw this, they also sent out their martial artists. Other than the people from the Earthfire sect and the Inscription Union, a total of 11 people rushed towards the dragon fruit. The bubbles in the magma churned and gradually boiled. A few warriors at the 5th sky of the spiritual sea realm had their spirit energy defense pierced by the splashing lava. Horrifying wounds appeared on their bodies. After struggling for a while, 3 warriors fell into the lava and screamed. But soon his heart sank. Hiss! Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air as they looked at the fiery red lava with fear. No one below the harmonious spirit realm would be able to escape from such heat. Hopefully they would succeed this time. Many warriors from different forces prayed. "Idiot, how is that possible?" Zhu Hao said disdainfully. "This kind of spirit fruit can't be picked so easily." As if in response to his words, the lava suddenly surged with waves more than 5 meters high. Like a small waterfall, the fiery red lava exploded in the air. Ah! A few more screams sounded as a few warriors fell into the lava. The remaining warriors' faces changed as they activated their spirit energy to the extreme. Roar! A deep roar resounded in the air, echoing endlessly. A tall figure emerged from the lava, emitting a terrifying demonic aura. A crimson light lit up as if it wanted to tear the air apart. A dark red energy formed above the lava. Pung pung pung. The remaining martial artists were unable to change their direction in the air, and were hit by these energies, falling into the lava one after another. Whoosh! The fiery red figure landed on the rock and looked at everyone with a ferocious expression. The expressions of the warriors on the shore changed again and again, especially the Lai family and the other families that had sent out warriors. They were heartbroken. Those were the elites of the family. Yet they lost their lives just like that. What a heavy demonic aura! Meng Yan took a deep breath. Everyone looked at that figure with fear and subconsciously took 2 steps back. It was a 3-meter-tall demonic ape. Its entire body was fiery red, and its skin was like a crystal armor, emitting a dark glow. This aura is probably at the peak of the 5th rank. Deacon Wang sighed. A 5th-rank demonic beast was equivalent to a warrior at the 7th sky of Spirit Sea Realm. A peak 5th-rank demonic beast was close to the harmonious spirit realm. In addition, monstrous beasts were originally stronger than martial artists of the same level. Almost no one here was a match for the monstrous ape. As for the human wave tactic, it was even worse. Ordinary martial artists would not even be able to withstand a single blow from the monster ape. The scene just now was enough to explain this problem. 7 or 8 warriors, half of them were at the 6th sky of Spirit Sea Realm, yet they could not withstand a single blow from the monster ape. Are we going to give up just like that? Everyone was unwilling. That was a 6th-rank spirit fruit. Since the beginning of time, the harmonious spirit realm had always been a threshold that blocked most of the martial artists. Only a very small number of people were able to surpass it and become a true expert. However, with this kind of 6th-rank spirit fruit, there was a high chance that a warrior could enter the harmonious spirit realm. This was also the reason why everyone went crazy. Moreover, even if they could not enter the harmonious spirit realm, they could still advance by a small realm. No one would give up on such a spirit fruit. For a moment, everyone looked at the Earth Fire sect. It was a 3rd-rank sect, and the leader was Meng Yan, the number 1 of the hidden dragon ranking. He should have a way. Feeling everyone's gaze, Meng Yan smiled. Everyone, if we want to get this spirit fruit, we will need everyone to work together. Oh, young Master Ming has a way? Many warriors were delighted. Although this monster ape is ferocious, its intelligence is ordinary and not comparable to humans. We can use a trick to lure it away, Meng Yan said. While Meng Yan and the others were discussing, Lin Xian and the other 2 went around the stone door and came in. Be careful, there's lava ahead. Lin Xian's eyes flashed as he reminded them in a low voice. Let's get out quickly. Zhang Ruyue was feeling uncomfortable underground. Wait, let's check the situation first. Lin Xian was very cautious. Purple light flashed in his eyes as if it was going to pierce through the soil. Using his soul force, he sensed everything outside and transmitted it to Zhang Ruyue and the short old man. It's a dragon fruit, the short old man exclaimed. This is a 6th-rank spirit fruit. Lin Xian's pupils shrunk after hearing that. He naturally knew the magical effect of a 6th-rank spirit fruit. We must get it. Lin Xian's eyes flashed with excitement. You? Zhang Ruyue curled her lips. That demonic beast can kill you with one slap. Plus there are so many warriors outside. So we can't go out. We have to hide in the dark. Lin Xian said with a smile. The 2 of you don't tell me you're also thinking about the dragon fruit? Nonsense. Zhang Ruyue snorted. No way, you're so rich. You can take out a spirit fruit so casually. Why don't you give it to me? Lin Xian said with a smile. Go to hell. Zhang Ruyue was furious. It's not too late to say these words after we get it, the short old man said. The 3 of them hid carefully underground. Outside, Meng Yan and the others had already thought of a countermeasure. The group of people used a secret technique to lure the demonic ape away, while their real bodies ran toward the dragon fruit. Old man, help me stop Meng Yan and I can give you 1/3 of the dragon fruit. Lin Xian said with a smile. The short old man looked at Lin Xian in surprise and said in a low voice, "Okay. Find me at the Inscription Alliance." Lin Xian released the Snow-White monkey and was ready to retreat at any time. Meng Yan, the Lai family, and the other forces rushed toward the dragon fruit. Behind them, Hu Yuan's angry voice and the screams of the warriors could be heard. "Oh no, that beast has noticed it." The warriors of the Lai family were shocked. "Humph!" Meng Yan's lips curled into a smile. His hand was about to touch the dragon fruit. However, in the next moment the dragon fruit disappeared. Meng Yan's eyes narrowed as he stared at the surroundings. The other warriors also exclaimed. Whoosh! A white figure flashed past at an extremely fast speed. The Snow-White monkey hugged the dragon fruit and made a face at the crowd. Then with a whoosh it disappeared. "It's that monkey. Damn it, chase it." Chapter 223. Meng Yan's eyes revealed a sinister killing intent. As the first on the hidden dragon roll, no one had ever dared to toy with him like this. Moreover, he would not allow this 6th-grade spirit fruit to fall into the hands of others, because it was his guarantee to enter the harmonious spirit realm. Bang! A powerful aura exploded from Meng Yan's body, blowing away all the martial artists around him. How terrifying! This is the aura of the 7th level of the Spirit Sea realm. The martial artists from various factions were frightened and involuntarily took a few steps back. At this moment, the fire ape in the distance rushed over. Demonic aura filled the sky, pressing down on everyone like a mountain. Lava exploded, forming a pillar of flame that sprayed towards the martial artists nearby. Whoosh! For a moment everyone dodged quickly. Flames flickered on Meng Yan's body. He punched the rising lava wave and flew towards the bulging ground in the distance. There he felt the aura of the dragon fruit. Deliver the goods first. Looking at Meng Yan, who was getting closer, the short old man said in a deep voice. "All right." Lin Xian was very decisive. With a chop of his hand, he threw 1/3 of the dragon fruit to the short old man. Grabbing the Snow-White little monkey, Lin Xian ran out of the passage. The short old man sighed in admiration and put away the dragon fruit. This child is exceptionally talented and decisive. He'll definitely become someone great in the future. Lin Xian's actions surprised the short old man. It was very rare to be able to keep calm in front of such a treasure. His body flashed and appeared on the ground, blocking Meng Yan. "Get lost." Meng Yan was exceptionally furious when he saw Lin Xian run away. Great Flame Steel Fist. Meng Yan's fists turned into a glazed color like red agate, glowing with light. That power could shatter an ordinary martial artist at the 7th level of the Spirit Sea realm. However, the short old man was not afraid. He cupped his fists and drew a circle. A green light lit up, and a bright moon appeared in his hand. The gentle light contained a terrifying power. Chi! The great flame steel fist hit the bright moon. It was as if it hit water, causing ripples. The short old man's palm turned, and the bright moon in his hand shone even brighter. A majestic power surged out and repelled Meng Yan's fist. Humph! Meng Yan snorted coldly and didn't continue fighting. His body transformed into countless flaming lights that flew out in all directions. The short old man smiled and raised his hand. The bright moon in his hand expanded infinitely, filling up the surrounding space. Ding ding ding. All the flames were blocked. Meng Yan's body was revealed and he staggered back a few steps. "Don't force me to kill you." Meng Yan's voice was filled with killing intent. "Little fellow, be good and stay here with this old man," the short old man said with a smile. At the side, Zhang Ruyue blinked her big bright eyes and muttered softly. Boom! Another fiery red silhouette flashed by and quickly ran in the direction that Lin Xian had escaped to. "It's a fire ape!" Zhang Ruyue exclaimed. The short old man sighed. He can only depend on himself. Even though he was strong, he wasn't a harmonious spirit realm warrior. And he didn't have the cloning technique, so he couldn't stop the fire ape. Boom boom boom. The ground was blasted apart, and scorching lava gushed out. A figure rushed out from the ground and kept changing positions in the air. "It's Lin Xian. He's the one who stole the dragon fruit." Swoosh! A group of warriors rushed forward and stared at Lin Xian with fiery eyes. However, no one dared to step forward. The fire ape's eyes were burning with fire, and its flaming big hand mercilessly covered Lin Xian. Swoosh! Lin Xian used the wind thunder step, creating hundreds of shadows to confuse the crowd. Block the passage, don't let him escape, the Lai family's people shouted. Humph! Deacon Wang snorted and his aura burst out, blocking the crowd. At the same time, all the warriors of the Inscription Union stood beside Deacon Wang, staring at the Lai family's people with an unfriendly expression. How dare you touch the people of the Inscription Union? Deacon Wang said coldly. Why wouldn't we dare? Zhu Hao, bring some people to stop Lin Xian. Meng Yan shouted. Eldest senior brother, don't worry, we won't let that kid escape. Zhu Hao and the others said quickly. For a moment, Meng Yan was held back by the short old man, and the Lai family's people were shocked by the Inscription Union. However, Lin Xian's crisis did not lessen. The fire ape alone was enough to put him in danger. Fortunately, he did not need to kill the fire ape, he only needed to escape. Sword Soul Space. Lin Xian's right eye was filled with runes, forming a strong suction force, as if to suck the fire ape's soul away. Roar! The fire ape was stunned for a moment, and its body stopped. Lin Xian took the opportunity to escape quickly. When the fire ape came back to its senses, Lin Xian had already escaped into the passage. The fire ape roared angrily, falling into madness. However, it did not enter the passage. Instead, it attacked the people in the cave. Retreat, it's crazy. Countless warriors fled, and the scene was extremely chaotic. After Lin Xian entered the passage, he increased his speed to the extreme, turning into a wind thunder shadow, and moved forward quickly. Swoosh! Swoosh! Suddenly, there was the sound of air breaking behind him, and three powerful auras approached quickly. Swoosh! The flame was like a long snake shooting toward Lin Xian. Lin Xian flicked his hand, shooting out a few sword qi which broke through the air. Chin! The sharp sword qi destroyed everything, and dissolved the attack behind him. Lin Xian, you can't escape. Zhu Hao yelled from behind. Whoosh! Lin Xian suddenly stopped, and the autumn scar sword appeared in his hand. Sword Soul Space. A strange soul attack rushed toward the three behind him, causing their minds to go blank for a moment. Wind Thunder Sword Wave. He stabbed out and the sword qi was like a wave rushing out quickly. Puff! Puff! The three screamed and horrifying sword wounds appeared on their bodies. Shoo! Lin Xian put away his long sword, turned around and left. Zhu Hao and the other two did not dare to attack again. At that moment they felt the danger of death. Obviously Lin Xian could kill them easily. Looking at Lin Xian's back, the three sighed, and started to treat the wounds on their bodies. Shoo! Lin Xian escaped from the underground tunnel, and came up to the surface. Without stopping, Lin Xian ran toward the mountain in the distance. Half a day later he came to an uninhabited mountain range, and opened up a cave. Wooji wooji! The little white monkey jumped out and kept gesturing. Okay, I got it, Lin Xian said. He took out the dragon fruit, and divided it into two halves, and gave one half to the little white monkey. This was what they had discussed beforehand. The little white monkey would steal it, and Lin Xian would be in charge of escaping. When it was done, the two would split it equally. The little white monkey ate happily, while Lin Xian took out the 1,000-year snow lotus, put it together with the dragon fruit, and gave it to Wine Lord. Don't worry. I will definitely make a pot of ice fire raging flames wine for you. Wine Lord laughed. A day later, Lord Alcohol succeeded in refining it. The ice fire raging flames wine was half ice and half fire. It was a mixture of ice and fire, containing a powerful energy. Lin Xian drank a cup, and his face immediately changed. It was as if there was a ball of fire burning inside his body. It was extremely hot, but also extremely cold, as if he had fallen into an ice cave. Chapter 224. The effect of ice and fire was perfectly manifested on his body. Two completely opposite powers collided in his body. Lin Xian carefully guided this power, constantly changing it. 3 days later, the boulder blocking the cave split open with a loud bang, and a terrifying spirit energy wave gushed out from inside. The surrounding wind and clouds surged, forming a fierce wind with shocking momentum. Lin Xian slowly walked out with a smile on his face. He didn't expect the ice fire raging flames wine to be so powerful. directly raising his cultivation from the 4th layer of the spiritual ocean realm to the 6th layer. And his strength increased by at least 5 times. Now, even if he met Meng Yan, he didn't need to blindly run away. With powerful sword intent and strange soul attack, he had the power to fight. It's time to leave. Lin Xian counted the days and found that it was very close to the Battle of the Inscription Tower. I'll go pick up Zhao Shui first. His body flashed, and he sprinted in the direction of Flame City. In Flame City, Lin Xian's appearance caused an invisible storm. Everyone knew that he had a 6th-grade spirit fruit in his hands. That was something that all spiritual ocean realm martial artists would go crazy for. Countless pairs of eyes stared at him, and many people were ready to make a move. Lin Xian found Zhao Shui and quickly left Flame City. When the two left the city, they found that there were people secretly following them. "Do you want me to deal with them?" Zhao Shui asked. She continuously comprehended the stone's eyeball these few days, and her soul force also reached the level of a 2nd seal soul. It could be said that her strength increased by a large margin. "Just clowns, don't worry about them." Lin Xian shook his head. Half a day later, the people behind caught up to them. There were a total of 3 people, all dressed in black and wearing masks. One of them had a powerful aura, reaching the 7th layer of the spiritual ocean realm. Zhao Shui's expression was grave. This kind of lineup, even with her 2nd seal soul force strength, was difficult to deal with. Who knew that Lin Xian didn't have the intention to let her make a move? He slowly walked out and said in a low voice, "I'll give you a chance, get lost. Otherwise, die. Brat, don't think that we won't dare to touch you just because you're from the Inscription Alliance. In this wilderness, even if you die, no one will suspect us brothers. Of all things you shouldn't have possessed a sacred item like the dragon fruit." The 3 masked martial artists laughed sinisterly. "Noisy." Lin Xian's face turned cold, and his right fist suddenly blasted out. "You're courting death." A black-clothed martial artist at the 6th sky of the spiritual ocean realm sneered, and the long saber in his hand suddenly slashed out. The saber light soared into the sky like a waterfall, bringing with it a gust of wind. Lin Xian's face was expressionless. Red copper lightning patterns appeared on his arm, and complex runes covered his entire fist. Crack! When the fist collided with the saber light, the ferocious fist directly shattered the resplendent saber light. Furthermore, the fist continued to charge towards the black-clothed cultivator. Crack! Bang! Under everyone's gaze, the black-clothed martial artist's long saber broke into 2 halves, followed by his protective shield, and then his ribs. Puff! Thunder and lightning surged with terrifying power. The black-clothed martial artist at the 6th sky of the spiritual ocean realm turned into a pile of rotten meat, falling to the ground. Hiss! The remaining 2 black-clothed martial artists gasped, looking at Lin Xian in horror. That was a martial artist at the 6th sky of the spiritual ocean realm. He was killed by 1 punch. Zhao Shui covered her mouth, her beautiful eyes filled with disbelief. At the same time, there was a strong sense of frustration in her heart. She originally thought that with the improvement of her soul power, the gap between her and Lin Xian would be reduced a lot. She didn't know that the gap between them was getting bigger and bigger. Lin Xian's cultivation not only reached the 6th sky of the spiritual ocean realm, but his strength was even more terrifying. To be able to shatter a martial artist at the 6th sky of the spiritual ocean realm with 1 punch, even a martial artist at the early stage of the 7th sky of the spiritual ocean realm might not be able to do it. Let's go together. He must have used a secret method to increase his power just now. The martial artist at the 7th sky of the spiritual ocean realm growled. The 2 quickly rushed towards Lin Xian, and simultaneously launched resplendent attacks. Dang! Lin Xian pulled out the autumn scar sword, and with a sword-drawing technique, he killed the martial artist at the 6th sky of the spiritual ocean realm. Wind Emperor's sword. Sword intent surged and Lin Xian stabbed out. Puff! The martial artist at the 7th sky of the spiritual ocean realm's pupils were dilated, and his face was still filled with disbelief. A sword hole appeared between his eyebrows, and blood and brain matter kept gushing out. Boom! The martial artist fell to the ground. Zhao Shui stared at Lin Xian blankly, feeling like she was dreaming. That was a martial artist at the 7th sky of the spiritual ocean realm. How could he be as weak as a chicken? Lin Xian sheathed his sword, and the sword intent on his body disappeared. Even the spirit power disappeared. The Wind Emperor's sword was already at 50%. He was very satisfied with that sword just now. Let's go. Lin Xian turned around, revealing a harmless smile. Oh. Zhao Shui nodded subconsciously, and followed with a numb body. In the following days, martial artists kept coming to find them, and Lin Xian easily dealt with them. At night, the moon shone brightly. Lin Xian started a fire, and roasted 2 wild boars. Zhao Shui rested her chin on her hands, and looked at the fire with blurred eyes. Suddenly she frowned and looked at Lin Xian. Just sit. Lin Xian's voice was calm. After adding some charcoal to the fire, he looked into the distance. Over there a tyrannical aura was rapidly approaching. Lin Xian stood up and waited quietly. Whoosh! A figure landed, and the ground was smashed into pieces. Terrifying cracks spread in all directions, accompanied by a scorching heat. It's not Meng Yan. Lin Xian's voice had a trace of disappointment. Who do you think you are to make senior brother Meng fight? The person was very disdainful. My name is Han Jin, and am here to take your life. With that, the young man pulled out the long spear on his back, and then put it together. Suddenly a sharp aura rose from his body. Spear force. Zhao Shui was shocked. You have good eyesight. Han Jin smiled proudly. This is great success, spear force, and it's not weak even in terms of conception. Lin Xian was slightly interested. It seemed that 3-star sects were indeed extraordinary, and any one of them was a peak existence in the younger generation. Interesting. I hope you won't disappoint me. Lin Xian pulled out his long sword. Like a divine sword being unsheathed, a sharp aura spread from his body. Ding ding. Clang. The great dragon sword intent went against the great success spear force. The 2 invisible forces kept colliding in the air like thunder, creating terrifying ripples. Zhao Shui had a trace of worry in her heart. It was the first time she saw someone who could resist Lin Xian's sword intent, and his cultivation was at the 7th layer of the spiritual ocean tier, firmly suppressing Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian didn't seem to be afraid. Xiu. Han Jin attacked first. His long spear shook, and like a dragon coming out of the sea, it stabbed out fiercely. The air seemed to be torn apart, and the ground shattered and a terrifying crack appeared. This spear was extremely fierce. Wind thunder pierce. Lin Xian also stabbed out with his sword. Sword intent surged and a 10-meter-long sword chi crashed down, hitting the long spear. Chapter 225. Crack. Crack. The surrounding rocks crumbled as the 2 forces turned into wind blades, destroying everything within a 50-meter radius. Zhao Shui's body was like duckweed as she floated into the distance. Fire kill. Han Jin twisted his long spear as a ball of dark red flame appeared on the tip of the spear. Although the flame was small, the energy it contained was shocking. As soon as it appeared, the entire space started to tremble. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. As a rune master, his soul power was outstanding. Naturally, he could feel the terror of that ball of flame. Break. The long spear surged, forming a horrifying flame attack. Using the wind thunder step, Lin Xian's body disappeared from the spot. He did not choose to take it head-on. It was not that he was scared. Sometimes retreating was a better way to attack. The sword light sliced through the air as if a dragon's roar was heard. The sharp sword pierced through the dark red flame, creating shocking sparks. Wind Emperor's sword. After thrusting out the sword, Lin Xian's sword art changed drastically, becoming erratic. Like a shooting star, this sword completely blended into the wind and disappeared without a trace. What? Han Jin's face changed drastically. Other than the battle with Meng Yan, this was the first time he felt danger from someone of the same generation. He could not even see Lin Xian's sword attack clearly, let alone block it. This guy is so young, but his sword art is so powerful. Han Jin's face darkened. He pulled back his long spear and waved it around, forming a wind and fire aura as he carefully defended. Shoo! A slight vibration appeared in the air as a dazzling sword chi flew out, aiming at Han Jin's vitals. This sword light went through his defense and was about to land on his body. How is this possible? Han Jin's face changed again. He did not believe that Lin Xian could go through his defense. However, the truth was right in front of him. Fire spirit armor. Han Jin yelled as his body shone with a bright red light, as if there were flames flying out. On the surface of his body, a bright red spirit armor quickly formed, making him look like a fire god. Clank! The autumn scar sword landed on the fiery armor, causing a metallic sound to ring out. The great dragon sword intent was incomparably sharp. The autumn water-like sword light imprinted itself on Han Jin's face, causing his body to tremble. The flame armor shone brightly, but a small crack was still cut open. For Lin Xian this was enough. The great dragon sword will surged and quickly seeped into the armor. The fierce aura began to destroy the flaming spirit armor. Get lost! Han Jin's heart trembled. The spiritual energy in his body surged, forming a binding force. He wanted to trap Lin Xian's long sword. At the same time he swung his fist and punched out. His fist, which was as big as a sandbag, glowed with the color of magma. It was like a piece of red-hot iron that carried a terrifying temperature. This punch came from the bottom, heading straight for Lin Xian's head. If he was hit, he would die immediately. However, Lin Xian obviously wouldn't sit still and wait for death. When Han Jin made his move, he had already made his move. On his arm the copper thunder mark appeared. The violent power of thunder and lightning pulsed like thunder from the 9 heavens, exploding loudly. The thunder and lightning flashed and landed on the fiery fist, creating a sound like a flash flood. In the distance Zhao Shui frowned and retreated again. A moment later, the ground where she was originally standing exploded with a loud bang, and everything was charred black. After the explosion Han Jin's blood boiled. The pain caused his face to turn pale. His arm went numb and he lost all feeling. Impossible! You're a sword cultivator. How can your body be so strong? Han Jin screamed. He was really stunned. From what he knew, sword cultivators had powerful attacks that far surpassed those of the same level. But correspondingly, their defensive system was very weak. Many swordsmen wore high-grade armor to make up for this weakness. Han Jin knew this, which was why he didn't attack Lin Xian's heart and other parts. However, Lin Xian directly competed with him in terms of physical strength, and far surpassed him. After a successful attack, Lin Xian's long sword stabbed again. The great dragon sword intent attacked again. Lin Xian seemed to have a dragon head behind him. Poof! A thumb-sized hole was cut open on the flaming spirit armor, and blood spurted out. Whoosh! Han Jin endured the pain in his body and quickly retreated. He didn't dare to get close to Lin Xian and could only stay far away. You dare to hurt me? I'll fight you. Han Jin's eyes were burning with anger. Even when he fought with Meng Yan, he hadn't suffered such an injury. The spiritual power in his body circulated wildly, and the flames on his body emitted a 3 feet long light. Humph! Lin Xian snorted. Bang! Poof! A low rumbling sound came from Han Jin's body like beans being fried. Then he spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was as pale as paper, and fine beads of sweat covered his body. You! Han Jin half knelt on the ground, gasping for breath. Just a moment ago, the remaining golden lightning in his body had exploded, causing him to suffer internal injuries. Now the spiritual power in his body was chaotic, and he couldn't even use half of his strength. You're strong, but it won't be so easy next time. Han Jin swallowed a few life-saving pills and said fiercely, You think I'll let you go? Lin Xian laughed in anger. This guy wanted to kill him first, and now he dared to say such harsh words after losing. You dare to kill me? I'm a core disciple of the Earth Fire sect. Han Jin screamed. He never thought that someone would dare to touch someone from the Earth Fire sect. Humph, I won't kill you, but I'll teach you a lesson. Lin Xian said coldly. This isn't a free dojo, and I'm not your sparring partner. I'll give you a choice. Leave behind your storage ring or your hand. Feeling Lin Xian's cold gaze, Han Jin was really afraid. He didn't doubt that Lin Xian would dare to kill him. However, he was unwilling to hand over his storage ring. All of his belongings were in there. 3, 2, 1. Lin Xian counted in a deep voice, and slowly raised the long sword in his hand. Storage ring! Han Jin screamed. He took off the dark red ring, threw it on the ground and quickly ran away. Sucking the storage ring into his hand, Lin Xian probed it with his soul power, and a trace of joy appeared on his face. As expected of a 3-star sect, their wealth was abundant. There were nearly 1,000,000 low-grade spirit stones, several mystic-class martial arts, and a spiritual-class low-grade martial arts. Among them, there were 3 high-grade mortal-class artifacts, and 1 low-grade mystic-class artifact. This was almost all of Lin Xian's wealth before he entered the underground world. I really hope that this kind of person comes a few more times, Lin Xian said indifferently. Zhao Shui walked over and helplessly rolled her eyes at him. For you. Lin Xian threw a short sword to Zhao Shui. Low-grade mystic-class artifact. Zhao Shui exclaimed, her face full of surprise. Everyone has a share, Lin Xian shrugged. He was now very rich, so he didn't care about a low-grade mystic-class artifact. The foot-long short sword was dark red, and under the moonlight, it glowed like a bloodthirsty eye. Chapter 226. Like a dragonfly skimming the water, then retreated swiftly. Lin Xian was stunned. He touched his cheek, then laughed bitterly. Inexplicably, a beautiful face suddenly appeared in his heart, akin to a celestial immortal. Sky Martial Region, Lin Xian said in a low voice. A night without words. The next day the two people set off again, advancing at top speed. 3 days later, they finally arrived at Dragoncliff City. Dragoncliff City was even more prosperous than Flame City. Those coming and going were powerhouses. Where are you going? Lin Xian asked. Zhao Shui looked at Lin Xian and smiled sweetly. Sir Lin, thank you very much for escorting me all the way. This young girl is endlessly grateful. If fate wills it, we'll meet again. Finished talking, Zhao Shui's eyes revealed a trace of determination, and she left quickly. Watching Zhao Shui leave, Lin Xian walked towards the center of the city. There was a Myriad Treasure Tower branch there. Finding the Myriad Treasure Tower, he walked in and stated the purpose of his visit. Lin Xian, you're here. Vivian ran out with a smile. The competition is about to start. I thought you weren't coming. Vivian grumbled somewhat. Why would I? Lin Xian smiled. Some things happened on the way and delayed some time. Ah, you became a second-grade inscription master. Vivian looked at the 2 golden patterns on Lin Xian's chest, her expression full of surprise. Even Elder Gu, who sensed it, had a look of shock too. The difficulty of the second-grade inscription master examination, he was aware. Being able to have 20% was already pretty good. Young friend Lin's talent is exceptional. Looks like we have hope this time, Elder Gu said with a chuckle. Quickly come in. Vivian pulled Lin Xian and walked in. On this day, the Myriad Treasure Tower was incomparably lively. Many elders had smiles on their faces. Some disciples who did not know the situation asked one after another. Only then did they know that a youth called Lin Xian had arrived. Lin Xian? Humph, what's the big deal? Immediately, many disciples were disdainful in their hearts. Before long, the entire Myriad Treasure Tower knew that a genius youth had arrived today. Everyone, Elder Gu invites you in. An attendant came to report. Perfect, I want to see what kind of monster this Lin Xian is. Humph. He definitely can't compare to Senior Martial Brother Lu. Not to mention Senior Brother Lu. I think even Senior Brother Ding can't compare with him. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, everyone arrived at the backyard. Look, it's Senior Brother Ding. It is said that Senior Brother Ding has reached the peak of 1 seal soul power. I wonder if it is true? It must be true. Look at that aura, that pressure, it's definitely not fake. Look, Senior Brother Lu is here. Another group of people exclaimed. Even Senior Brother Ding looked at the entrance with a solemn face. Humph, Senior Brother Lu is already here. Why isn't that Lin Xian here yet? That's right. How arrogant. Many of Senior Brother Liu's supporters said coldly. Elder Gu is here. It was unknown who shouted. Suddenly the entire courtyard quieted down. Everyone looked at the entrance. They saw an old man in a white robe walk in with a smile. Behind him was a beautiful woman and a handsome young man. Everyone's gaze turned towards the delicate and pretty young man. They had never seen this young man before. He must be that Lin Xian. Many people had a cold expression and were ready to mock him. However, when they saw the 2 golden lines on Lin Xian's chest, they suddenly froze in place. Even Senior Brother Ding looked surprised, and Senior Brother Lu frowned slightly. Second-grade inscription master. Many people's voices were trembling. Almost no one dared to look at Lin Xian with dissatisfaction. That was a second-grade inscription master. In their hearts, only senior brother Lu could compare to him. Haha, everyone is here. Elder Gu smiled and said, "This is our young friend Lin Xian. With his participation, our chances of winning this time will increase by quite a bit." Lin Xian smiled and greeted the others. Then he stood behind Elder Gu and said no more. Next, Elder Gu explained the situation of the Battle of Inscriptions. Everyone listened carefully. Lin Xian also pricked up his ears. He found out that these people were only disciples of the Thousand Treasures Tower. Moreover, not everyone could participate. Including Lin Xian, there were only 5 people in total. Other than that, there were several other forces in Great Xia that would send disciples. One of them was the Inscription Alliance. Although the Inscription Alliance was a large regional organization, there was competition between the sub-leagues of various countries. Therefore, they were indispensable in this battle. Other than the Inscription Alliance, there was also the Ouyang family. This was an ancient family that was somewhat famous in the inscription world of Great Xia. 3 days later, the 3 forces of Great Xia would gather in Dragon Cliff City and head to Green Water Valley together. There, they would compete with the inscription masters of Shadow Country and Rain Country to determine the quota to enter the inscription tower. After an hour, everyone dispersed and began to prepare carefully. 3 days later, the Thousand Treasures Tower attracted the other 2 forces. Lin Xian recognized the people of the Inscription Alliance. The leaders were Elder Song and Deacon Meng. Among the disciples, Lin Xian saw Huang Shanshan and Zhou Yong. On the other side was the Ouyang family. The leader was an old man with a dragon-headed walking stick. Behind him stood 6 or 7 young men. One of them had an unusually strong soul power. The aura that occasionally leaked out was frightening. Lin Xian was slightly surprised. Judging from the strength of the soul power, the young man's soul power seemed to be stronger than his. There are indeed many experts. Lin Xian had a hint of excitement in his heart. The people of the Ouyang family and the Inscription Alliance were also secretly observing Lin Xian and the others. After many people saw Lin Xian, they were surprised. This was because such a young second-grade inscription master had never appeared before. There were a total of 15 inscription masters in Xia country. They could be said to be the elites. Among the 15, Lin Xian, Huang Shanshan, Lu Qing, and Ouyang Changming were all second-grade inscription masters. Their soul power was very strong. The other 11 were first-grade inscription masters. Among them, Zhou Yong and Ding Zhe were at the peak of the first-grade inscription masters. At this point, all the inscription masters of Xia country were present. Elder Song, Elder Gu and Elder Ouyang would be leading the team for the competition this time around. Everyone reorganized themselves and headed towards the Green Water Valley. 3 huge blue-striped birds landed in the courtyard. Each of them was more than 10 meters long. When they flapped their wings, they formed a small gust of wind. Lin Xian and the others got on and quickly left. The 3 old men sat on 3 sides. They were all harmonious spirit realm experts. They could easily create a strong protective shield. Without the interference of the gust of wind, Lin Xian closed his eyes and began to comprehend the inscription copied from the stone eyeball. The competition this time would definitely be a gathering of experts. He didn't want to make a fool of himself in the competition. After Elder Gus' explanation, Lin Xian knew that the competition this time was very simple. It was a martial arts competition on the arena. Compared to an ordinary martial arts competition, the competition between inscription masters was much more dangerous. It was because there was a possibility of soul damage at any time. And this kind of damage had a huge impact on the cultivator. As for the reward, it was naturally to enter the inscription tower. Chapter 227. A day later, a dark green valley appeared below. "We're here." Elder Gus' voice had a hint of seriousness. Many disciples on the blue-striped birds opened their eyes and looked down at the valley below. Lin Xian also lowered his head and looked down. The valley was surrounded by green trees, green mountains, and clear water, just like a paradise on earth. "Is the inscription tower here?" Many disciples were excited. Elder Song's eyes flashed. It said that this inscription tower was left behind by an inscription grandmaster. You must seize this opportunity. Inscription grandmaster. Lin Xian was surprised. To be able to be called a grandmaster, he must be a great figure. The 3 blue-striped birds slowly descended and landed in the valley. Everyone jumped off the birds and looked around. In the middle of the valley there was a huge array platform, exuding a vicissitude aura. On the other 3 sides of the array platform, there were some stone stands for people to rest and watch. This inscription tower battle has a history of more than 100 years, so the facilities here are more complete, Elder Gu explained. Once every 10 years, this should be the 10th time. Let's go and rest first. The group of people walked towards the east side of the grandstand. Half a day later, the people of Rain Country arrived. The 2 sides greeted each other and then took their seats. It's said that an inscription genius has appeared in Rain Country. You must be careful when the time comes, Elder Gu said. Inscription genius. Everyone was slightly stunned. To be able to make the elder think so highly of him, he must not be an ordinary person. For some reason many people looked at Lin Xian. In their eyes Lin Xian was also an inscription genius. After all, it was rare to see such a young second-grade inscription master. Just as they were discussing, a group of people arrived. It's Shadow Country. Elder Gus' voice was serious. Rain Country's strength was about the same as theirs, but this Shadow Country far surpassed them. And the champion of the competition was always Shadow Country. A group of people slowly descended from the huge flying ship, and Lin Xian looked over with interest. Most of the people of Shadow Country had arrogant looks, not taking Summer Country and Shadow Country seriously at all. However, they did have the qualifications to be arrogant. Lin Xian could sense that their soul force was extremely powerful, and among them, there were 2 whose auras made him feel apprehensive. One of them was dressed in purple, and even his hair was purple. The presence on his body had reached the 7th layer of the spiritual ocean tier, and his eyes even made Lin Xian apprehensive. Purple light flashed, as if there was a formless suction force that wanted to suck away everyone's minds. Purple Extreme Devil Palace. Lin Xian's heart sank. The other person was dressed in a black robe, and his entire body was hidden in the darkness. Although the aura on his body was ordinary, the occasional fluctuations that leaked out made Lin Xian frown. The 2 countries came quite early. The leader of the Shadow Country was a purple-robed old man. Since everyone is here, let's begin. The disciples of the Shadow Country all walked towards the north side of the stands, while the purple-robed old man swept to the center of the platform. This old man will first explain the rules. The competition will be divided into 3 groups for elimination, and the top 3 of each group will enter the finals. The purple-robed old man slowly said, the top 3 of the finals will be qualified to enter the inscription tower, and the first place will also receive a soul-gathering pill. This soul-gathering pill is refined by the Inscription Alliance. It can condense a martial artist's soul, increase the degree of soul condensation, and increase the chances of breaking through to the 3rd seal of soul force. Elder Song took a deep breath. There's actually a soul-gathering pill. It seems that this competition will be much more intense. The Inscription Alliance was a colossus in the entire Tianan region, and the 3 countries of Xia Country were only a few countries in the Tianan region. To a certain extent, they all belonged to the Inscription Alliance. When the young inscription masters heard about the soul-gathering pill, they immediately exclaimed. Everyone looked excited and couldn't wait to start the competition immediately. Little Xian, this is good stuff. Wine Lord transmitted his voice. Lin Xian's eyes flashed. Originally, he only wanted to enter the inscription tower, but now it seemed that he had to get first place. Right now, he really needed to increase his strength. The soul-gathering pill was too tempting for him. With the soul-gathering pill, his soul force would increase again, and at that time his chances of defeating Lin Feng would be much higher. On Xia Country's side, Onying Chongming had a confident smile on his face, but the hands hidden in his sleeves were tightly clenched. In the distance, the purple-haired youth from the Purple Extreme Demon Palace had an evil smile on his face, as if the soul-gathering pill had already become his private property. On Rain Country's side, a young girl with an ethereal temperament sat with a smile on her face, her beautiful eyes shining. The center of the arena glowed, forming 3 independent arenas. Each arena was 100 meters wide, enough for spiritual C-tier martial artists to compete. Lin Xian and Vivian were assigned to the first group. The two of them walked near the first arena, waiting for the start of the competition. There were dozens of people gathered near the first arena. All of them had powerful auras and souls, and their strength was equivalent to martial artists in the top 30 of the Hidden Dragon ranking. Among them, the one that Lin Xian feared the most was the black-robed martial artist from the Shadow Country. Through his understanding, he knew that the black-robed man belonged to the Dark Shadow Palace, a very mysterious sect. Aside from the black-robed man, there were several second-tier inscribers near the first arena, and their cultivation level was above the 6th layer of spiritual C tier. The other two arenas were also filled with people. The most eye-catching one in the second arena was the purple-haired youth from the Purple Extreme Demon Palace, and the third arena was occupied by the ethereal young girl. The center of the arena glowed brightly, and the multicolored light soared into the sky. This meant that the competition was about to begin. Lin Xian retracted his gaze and returned it to the first arena. The two youths called out by the referee walked onto the arena. The black arena emitted 2 rays of light that fell on the two youths. Lin Xian knew that this was to test whether the two youths were inscribers or not. If they weren't, then they would be rejected by the black arena, and the corresponding result would be elimination. However, the 3 countries and 9 forces obviously knew this rule, so the disciples who came to compete this time were all inscribers. One of the youths on the arena was actually the black-robed youth from the Dark Shadow Palace, and his opponent was a youth from the Rain Country. As soon as the competition began, the black-robed youth drew a black rune with both hands, and like a black scythe, it sent his opponent flying with one strike. The surrounding martial artists instantly cried out in surprise. They didn't even see what that black rune was before the competition ended. Several second-tier inscribers looked at the black-robed martial artist with serious expressions. Before this, they didn't take this person seriously. Lin Xian's eyes flashed and he was surprised. He sensed a dangerous soul fluctuation from the black rune. The competition progressed quickly and was very exciting. Many of the moves were eye-opening for Lin Xian. And at this time the referee called out Lin Xian's name. Lin Xian, go. Vivian waved her little fist at the side. With a faint smile, Lin Xian's body flashed and he arrived on the arena. Opposite him, a white-robed youth stood proudly, and there were 2 golden patterns embroidered on his chest. Chapter 228. The moment the arrogant young man stepped onto the stage, a group of people cheered. Even the martial artists from the other 2 arenas looked over. After all, second-grade inscriptionists were already the top existences here. Sigh, encountering a second-grade inscriptionist, that kid is really unlucky. That's our eldest senior brother, He Kai. Not only is his soul power outstanding, his strength has reached the 7th level of the Spirit Sea realm. Dealing with a kid at the 6th level of the Spirit Sea realm is a piece of cake. At this time, Lin Xian had already taken off his second-grade inscriptionist silver robe, so these people did not know of Lin Xian's strength. There was also a trace of worry in Vivian's eyes. The other party's cultivation was stronger than Lin Xian's. He Kai was an outstanding youth of Shadow Country's Inscription Palace. His soul power and cultivation were top existences. Lin Xian's first opponent was actually so terrifying. The inscriptionists of Xia Country did not look too good. Elder Gu and Elder Song also frowned. Although Lin Xian was valiant, his opponent was even more valiant. Comparing the two, Lin Xian seemed to be at a disadvantage. Elder Song, I'm afraid you're going to lose this round. A loud laugh came from the side. Everyone turned their heads. Their faces were abnormally ugly. Not far from them were the inscriptionists of Shadow Country. One of the old men had a smug look on his face. He was He Kai's master. Old man He, the competition hasn't started yet. It's too early to say who will win. Elder Song said with a sullen face. Too early? It's not early. Such an obvious gap. Even a blind person can see it. Elder He laughed loudly. The Inscription Palace where Old Man He was at was actually a branch of the Inscription Alliance. However, he and Elder Song were from 2 different countries and were naturally in a competitive relationship. Now that he could get rid of his old rival, he naturally felt good. Is that so? Elder Song said in a deep voice. Lin Xian is also a second-grade inscriptionist. It's not certain who will win. Elder He was slightly surprised. The people of Shadow Country's Inscription Palace were also surprised. Impossible. He's obviously a youth, How can he be a second-grade inscriptionist? The people of Inscription Palace obviously did not believe it. Old song, a loss is a loss. Why must you make such a joke? Elder, he sneered. Everyone from Xia country felt aggrieved. These guys from Shadow country were too arrogant. Their tails were raised to the sky. I believe that Lin Xian will definitely win, Huang Shanshan said softly. Everyone looked at arena number 1 with a glimmer of hope in their hearts. On the first arena, Lin Xian and He Yingkai were already fighting. The two of them were moving quickly in the arena. After images flashed on the black arena, accompanied by wind, thunder, lightning, and surging spiritual energy. So fast. Many martial artists could not keep up with the speed of their eyes, and could only use their soul power. They feared He Yingkai from the bottom of their hearts, but Lin Xian's performance had exceeded their expectations. His speed was not at all inferior to He Yingkai's. He Yingkai's expression was cold and arrogant as he attacked mercilessly. He was the number 1 disciple of the Inscription Palace. Naturally, he did not place Lin Xian in his eyes. His soul power spread out and he clearly captured the trajectory of Lin Xian's movements. A sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. He Yingkai waved his palm at the back left like lightning. The surging spiritual energy surged and the air whistled. This palm was like a tsunami, powerful to the extreme. Everything within 10 meters behind him was shrouded by the wind from his palm. Whoosh! A figure appeared. It was Lin Xian. He appeared. Haha, he finally appeared. Senior brother, he is mighty. Finish him in one move. The disciples of the Inscription Palace shouted. In their view, Lin Xian who appeared was a human target. He would definitely not be able to escape from He Yingkai's palm. Haha, Old Song, you have lost. Elder, he laughed arrogantly. Elder Song and the others' faces were gloomy. The inscriptionists of Xia country were silent. Not good. Near arena number 1, Vivian's face also changed. Lose for me. He Yingkai sneered. His palm struck out like a tsunami and the violent spiritual energy hit Lin Xian. Boom! An earth-shattering tremor spread in all directions from arena number 1. At this moment, all the cultivators in the valley were looking at ring number 1 with shock on their faces. Elder Song and the others' hearts sank. They didn't think that Lin Xian would be able to withstand such a blow. Prepare the elixir to rescue him. Lin Xian has unlimited potential. We can't leave any hidden injuries. Elder Song began to deploy. Crack! In the huge spiritual energy vortex, the power of lightning suddenly flashed and brandished its claws in the air. Everyone looked over in shock, waiting for the moment the result would be revealed. The spiritual energy vortex dissipated and arena number 1 returned to normal. 2 figures appeared in the arena. He Yingkai's palm was firmly imprinted on Lin Xian's chest. On the other hand, Lin Xian's entire body was suffused with the glow of lightning. Numerous complicated lightning runes appeared on the surface of his body, and they were filled with a violent energy. This is your attack. Lin Xian said lightly. Too weak. He Yingkai's pupils constricted and fear welled up in his heart. Impossible. How could he block senior brother He's attack? The Inscription Palace's warriors cried out loudly while the others were in an uproar. Too shocking. Too unexpected. A martial artist at the 6th level of the Spiritual Sea Realm actually took a blow from a martial artist at the 7th level of the Spiritual Sea Realm head-on, and was completely fine. This? On the grandstand, Elder He's face was solemn and his eyes were filled with shock. Not only him, but even Elder Song and Elder Gu were shocked. Those inscriptionists of Great Xia were even more stunned. They did not dare to believe such means. Old man He, things seem to be different from what you predicted. Elder Song struck a blow. Elder He's face darkened as he cursed in his heart. He actually misjudged. How many years had it been since something like this happened? Why, you're actually fine? On the stage, He Yingkai's voice trembled. You should worry about yourself. Lin Xian's eyes turned cold and his right hand was like an iron clamp, firmly grabbing onto He Yingkai's arm. Exerting a little force, Lin Xian lifted He Yingkai up and smashed him onto the ground. Not good. You dare. The Inscription Palace's martial artists all exclaimed and were abnormally worried. Let go. He Yingkai was furious. His entire Buddha spiritual power surged, forming a terrifying spiritual power storm. However, in front of Lin Xian's copper thunder pattern, everything was useless. Soul interference. At the last moment, He Yingkai used his soul power. His powerful soul power surged towards Lin Xian. As long as Lin Xian's soul was attacked, he could immediately counterattack. Peng! Lin Xian was not afraid. His soul power surged out and clashed with He Yingkai's. In the next moment, Lin Xian successfully blocked He Yingkai's soul power, while He Yingkai himself crashed heavily onto the ground. Boom! The black ground was abnormally hard and did not shatter. However, his huge impact caused the entire stage to shake as if an earthquake happened. Pooh! Chapter 229. Lin Xian's attack caused He Yingkai to suffer internal injuries. Falling to the ground, He Yingkai's mind was in a daze. The spiritual sea in his body was in chaos. He was puzzled by the scene just now. He had clearly used a soul attack, but the other party was not affected at all. Furthermore, he could feel a strong soul power resisting him. Is he also a second-grade inscription master? He Yingkai suddenly had such a thought in his mind. However, he quickly ruled it out. Such a young second-grade inscription master had never appeared in the history of the Shadow Country, let alone the relatively backward Xia country. He rolled and quickly fled to the back. However, Lin Xian did not give him a chance to escape. His palm shot out like lightning and he grabbed He Yingkai once again. What? Everyone was stunned. Shameless. Let go of the eldest senior brother. Despicable. The people of the Inscription Palace cursed loudly. Their eyes were burning with anger. However, the martial artists of Xia country were extremely excited. Many of them could not help but shout. Before the start of the competition, they had been ridiculed by the people of the Shadow Country. Now that they had the chance, they naturally wanted to return the favor. Kid, you've angered me. He Yingkai was an elite of the Inscription Palace. He had never suffered such humiliation before. Moreover, his opponent was a youth who was inferior to him in all aspects. His soul force violently tumbled and a terrifying aura filled the air. Soul shock. A sharp voice rang out, followed by a terrifying soul force. At this moment, the martial artists near the first arena trembled. They felt a tremor from their souls. It felt as if their souls would be extinguished at any time. Great, it's senior brother He's soul secret skill. That kid is dead for sure. No one can escape senior brother He's soul shock. The disciples of the Inscription Palace revealed a victorious expression. In the stands, Elder He also breathed a sigh of relief. I didn't expect him to use his ultimate move so quickly. To be defeated by this move, you people of Xia country should be proud. Elder He's words shocked Elder Song and the others. They naturally knew the power of the soul shock secret skill. Anyone who was hit by it would have their souls severely damaged. In serious cases, it could lead to immediate death. Damn it! Nothing can happen to Lin Xian. Elder Gu clenched his fists. Die! He Yingkai's eyes flashed with a vicious light. Lin Xian's actions made him want to kill him. Slash! Feeling the pressure on his soul, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Runes flashed in his left eye, and the soul sword quickly slashed out. Chi! He Yingkai's soul attack was cut into two like a piece of cloth. Ah! A blood-curdling scream rang out. He Yingkai clutched his head and screamed as blood flowed out of his 7 orifices. Bang! Lin Xian kicked him out of the field. Silence, absolute silence. The cultivators near stage 1 were all stunned, not daring to believe the reality in front of them. That was soul shock. How could it be broken so easily? Senior apprentice brother He. The people of Inscription Palace regained their senses and quickly ran towards He Yingkai. Whoosh! A figure quickly appeared beside He Yingkai. This was an old man, Elder He of the Inscription Palace. His soul reached out and circled around He Yingkai's body. His face immediately turned gloomy. Humph, this old man has misjudged you. Elder He looked at Lin Xian coldly. Feeling the pressure of a harmonious spirit expert, Lin Xian's face turned slightly pale. The dragon pattern in his body shone brightly, and the great dragon sword intent roared in his body. Suddenly, Lin Xian felt a surge of energy filling his body, and the pressure of a harmonious spirit expert gradually disappeared. Elder He, please mind the rules. The judge of stage 1 walked over with a warning tone. Elder He glared at Lin Xian with hatred, and then quickly brought He Inkai back to the spectator stand to treat his injuries. Elder Song, very good, very good. Elder He looked at the Great Xia's side and said coldly, "Thank you for letting me win." Elder Song and the others were not afraid of Elder He. However, they were shocked from the bottom of their hearts. Lin Xian's attack was too shocking. The winner is Lin Xian, the judge said in a clear voice. Hua! The disciples of Great Xia cheered and shouted, while the disciples of the other two countries were stunned. Especially the disciples of the Shadow Country. Their faces were gloomy. They could not accept this result. Lin Xian, the black-robed youth from the Dark Shadow Palace, let out a low laugh. I hope you won't disappoint me. This voice made some of the nearby disciples feel a chill in their hearts. Many of them quietly moved away from the black-robed youth. They had seen the black-robed youth's strength, and the disciples of the Dark Shadow Palace knew how powerful he was. Many of the Shadow Country's disciples looked at Lin Xian with hatred. As long as the black-robed youth attacked, Lin Xian would lose without a doubt. Lin Xian, be careful, Vivian said with a worried face. Obviously, she felt the unusual atmosphere nearby. I'm fine. Be careful. If you can't do it, you can give up, Lin Xian said in a low voice. The wound on the soul is hard to heal. You must think carefully. Vivian nodded. She knew how powerful it was. As expected, in the later rounds of the competition, the people of the Inscription Palace began to specifically target Vivian. However, Vivian's strength had reached the 6th layer of the spiritual ocean tier, and her soul power had reached the peak of a first-grade inscription master. In the vicinity of the first stage, aside from a few second-grade inscriptionists, there were really not many who were her match. The competition continued. A few second-grade inscriptionists stepped onto the stage one by one and easily defeated their opponents. Gradually, the division of strength between each side appeared. The first tier was Lin Xian, the black-robed youth, and a few other second-grade inscriptionists. These people all subdued their opponents within a few moves. However, the following matches refreshed everyone's understanding of the black-robed youth. In the second round, the black-robed youth, Shadowless, stepped onto the stage again. His opponent was Rain Country's second-grade inscription master, Zhongyu. The black-robed youth's hands moved, forming a black symbol in front of him that contained a terrifying energy. His opponent, Zhongyu, was holding a circular weapon that was covered with sharp gears. With a wave of his hand, the circular metal gear flew out like lightning. On top of it, there were dozens of tiny blades flying out. Zhongyu's soul power surged, controlling the flying blades that filled the sky, forming an all-around attack. Who? The black-robed youth, Shadowless, shook his body and disappeared from where he stood. Ding ding ding. All the flying blades hit the ground, forming a string of sparks. Zhongyu's attack failed. He spread out his soul power and instantly sensed the black-robed youth's location. Behind me! He suddenly turned around, but what welcomed him was a flash of black light. Chi-chi! Pung! Like a bolt of black lightning, it quickly hit the circular gear. A thumb-sized hole appeared. The black light passed through the metal and heavily hit Zhongyu's body. His spiritual power armor was penetrated, and a bloody hole appeared on his body. I admit defeat. Zhongyu covered his wound and walked down the stage with a terrified expression. Chapter 230. Everyone was stunned. Even a second-grade inscription master like Zhong, you couldn't last more than 2 moves in the hands of the black-robed youth. If anyone else went up, they would be killed in seconds. Lin Xian looked at the black-robed youth with a dignified look in his eyes. Very strong. That was his feeling. Swish. The black-robed youth looked at Lin Xian. His gaze was like a pillar of fire, unbearably hot. Lin Xian's expression didn't change. The sword light in his eyes flashed like a peerless divine sword unsheathed, incomparably sharp. Ding ding ding. Sparks appeared in the air, like metal intersecting, and a wave of energy quickly spread out. Hee hee. The black-robed youth sneered and quickly walked down the stage. Not long after, Lin Xian went up the stage again. Many people were shocked and looked at Lin Xian with a dignified look. Until now, no one would underestimate Lin Xian. However, when they saw Lin Xian's opponent, they all exclaimed, "Haha, that Lin kid is dead." Many disciples of the Inscription Palace sneered. The disciples of the state of Great Xia frowned and looked cautiously at the figure on the stage. She was wearing a purple short skirt that just reached her thighs. Her upper body was even more revealing, and most of her snow-white chest was exposed, making people want to vomit blood. Delicate face, devilish figure, she was simply a demoness. So beautiful. Tiske, that thigh is so white. You want to die? Don't talk nonsense. She is the second disciple of the Purple Demon Palace. Someone warned. Purple Demon Palace. Suddenly, many martial artists' faces regained their clarity, and even their eyes were restrained. This Purple Demon Palace was not only a third-grade sect of the Shadow Country, but it was also powerful and cruel. Otherwise, it wouldn't be known as the Demon Palace. The disciples of the state of Great Xia looked dignified, and many people were worried about Lin Xian. The second disciple of the Purple Demon Palace, Hua Yan, was several times stronger than He Yingkai. This time Lin Xian is dead. The disciples of the Shadow Country all sneered. Many of the martial artists in the other arenas also looked in this direction. Even the black-robed young man was staring at the arena. Young man, why don't you surrender when you see me? Hua Yan's voice was extremely sweet. There was a hint of seduction in her voice, causing one's blood to surge. Immediately, some of the disciples who were closer to the arena turned red, as if their skin was about to bleed. As soon as Hua Yan's voice sounded, Lin Xian felt an invisible soul force interfering with his perception. At the same time, the aura in his body seemed to be boiling. Humph! With a cold snort, the great dragon sword will in his body formed an invisible sword chi that cut through the void. Purple Extreme Devil Palace? The corners of Lin Xian's lips curled up slightly. That's useless against me. Lin Xian's gaze was sharp. Wherever it passed, it was as if a sword had swept past, turning everything into nothingness. Hua Yan was a little surprised when she saw that her charm illusion technique did not work. Hua Yan smiled faintly like a blooming lily. Her expression was extremely beautiful at this moment, and many people saw a strange scene. Since you want to play, I'll play with you. Lin Xian sneered. He had been studying the inscriptions given to him by Wine Lord, and had a new understanding of the use of souls. There seemed to be thousands of inscriptions rotating in his right eye, and a strange soul wave was transmitted. Trap. The scene around her changed drastically, and Hua Yan seemed to be in a dark cage. Clang! The sound of iron chains was heard, and she was quickly bound. Chi! Chi! The cold iron chains exerted a little force, and her clothes were shredded into pieces. Her jade-like body was exposed to the air, and all kinds of torture followed. In the outside world, Hua Yan stood still and suddenly frowned. She bit the tip of her tongue lightly, and the purple light in her eyes intensified. In the spiritual space, her jade-like body suddenly changed and fell to the ground like petals. Where Lin Xian was standing, countless tentacles grew out and wrapped around him. Hey! You're still far from being able to use eye skills on me. Hua Yan smiled charmingly, and her eyes seemed to be dripping with tears. Release your most primitive desires. Pink gas gushed out from the tentacles and drilled into Lin Xian's body. Chi! The sword of souls slashed and destroyed everything. Is Wuxia still alive? Lin Xian suddenly asked. What? How did you know? Hua Yan was stunned. Then she seemed to have thought of something, and her face changed drastically. Did you injure him? Impossible. Sword of Souls. Lin Xian smirked, and a translucent sword chi suddenly pierced out, cutting off the tentacles around him. The sword chi surged and quickly slashed at Hua Yan. This is impossible. How did you know this move? Hua Yan's face finally changed. Her soul shook, and she wanted to escape from this space. However, the speed of the Sword of Souls was unimaginable, and it slashed at Hua Yan's soul in an instant. In the outside world, Lin Xian and Hua Yan stood quietly, without any movement. However, the disciples around them knew that they must be engaged in a special soul battle. This kind of battle was the most dangerous, and the slightest mistake could cost one's life. It can't be, right? Is this Lin Xian so strong that he can compete with Hua Yan? Impossible. Hua Yan is the second disciple of the Purple Demon Palace. How can Lin Xian be her opponent? It's only been 5 breaths. Let's wait a little longer. These people were nervous and did not know what was going on. Suddenly, Huayan's body trembled, and she regained her mobility. It's over. Everyone was excited, and they knew that the soul battle was over. Puff. However, what they did not expect was that Huayan's face turned pale, and she spat out a mouthful of blood. How is this possible? Huayan spat out blood. Did she lose? Everyone could not believe it and hurriedly looked at Lin Xian. They saw that Lin Xian was smiling, and his expression was the same, without the slightest discomfort. No, I must be under an illusion. Wake up. Yes, it must be Lin Xian's illusion. Many disciples of the Shadow Kingdom shouted, unwilling to believe this fact. The disciples of the Purple Demon Palace could not accept it, and they would rather believe that they were under an illusion. Do you still want to continue? Lin Xian said lightly. Huayan covered her undulating chest, and there was a trace of struggle in her eyes. Thinking of his abnormal physical skills, Huayan finally sighed. Good brother, you won. What? Huayan actually admitted defeat. The group of people was stunned. Winner Lin Xian. The referee's voice echoed in the valley, and it shocked everyone. At this moment, almost everyone looked at Lin Xian. In the stands, the elders of the Purple Demon Palace frowned. Even Huayan lost. This kid seems to be not simple. I've never heard of this kid before. I don't know where he came from. Although Huayan lost, there's still Ziyi. As long as he's here, the first place will be ours. Several elders of the Purple Demon Palace whispered to each other. Near the second arena, the purple-haired Ziyi looked at Lin Xian with a cold expression. Huayan, don't worry, I'll avenge you. In the next round, Ziyi versus Li Guang. In the second arena, the purple-haired Ziyi walked up to the stage. Facing his opponent, he only glanced at him. Ah! Chapter 231. Ziyi only glanced at him, and his opponent screamed crazily, bleeding from all 7 orifices. This kind of method was simply unimaginable. After easily defeating his opponent, Ziyi turned his gaze to the first arena. A murderous intent soared into the sky, as if there was an invisible heavenly blade hanging over everyone's head. Lin Xian felt a sharp soul force piercing towards him, and that force was several times stronger than Huayan's. He focused his mind and calmed down, preparing to defend with all his strength. At this time, the soul force suddenly disappeared. I hope you can hold on for a while longer. In the arena, I will kill you in one move. Ziyi's words echoed around. Fuck. Ziyi is angry, this kid is dead. No one has ever been able to resist Ziyi's gaze, even if that kid is strong. The disciples of Shadow Country were excited, and couldn't wait to see Ziyi attack. Anytime. Lin Xian's face was calm as he slowly walked down the arena. Hua! The crowd around him parted, automatically opening up a path. The current Lin Xian could only be matched by a peerless genius like Ziyi. Ordinary people couldn't stop him at all. At this moment, no matter what these people thought in their hearts, their actions had already acknowledged Lin Xian's strength. The competition continued, and all kinds of geniuses displayed their powerful combat power in front of everyone. In the first arena, other than Lin Xian, there was also a strange and unpredictable black-robed youth, Wu Ying. In the second arena, Ziyi defeated his opponent in one move, and no one could resist him. Other than him, there was also Ouyang Changming, a disciple of Xia Country's Ouyang family. He also displayed his powerful strength, defeating many second-grade inscriptionists. On the third arena, an ethereal young girl's movements were gentle like a celestial fairy. She was Rain Country's genius girl Yu Fei. The strength displayed by this girl was not inferior to Ziyi, and many people were looking forward to the battle between the two. Other than that, there were also some outstanding geniuses. At this time, the second arena ushered in a battle. Ziyi versus Ouyang Changming. One was a recognized expert and the other was a rising star genius. The battle between the two attracted everyone's attention. Lin Xian's eyes flashed, and he was also carefully watching the battle. Judging from Ouyang Changming's performance, he was stronger than Huayan. But how would he compare to Ziyi? In the stands, everyone from the Xia country looked nervous, especially Elder Ouyang, who clenched his fists in secret. Changming, don't force yourself. Elder Ouyang sighed in his heart. On the second arena, Ziyi was dressed in a long gown. His purple hair fluttered in the air, making him look incomparably demonic. disciple of the great Xia, I'll take some interest from you first. After saying this, his eyes emitted a demonic purple glow, like two purple stars. An aura that made one's soul tremble suddenly appeared, and the entire space fell into a state of oppression. Purple demon eyes. Purple light flashed, instantly enveloping Ouyang Changming. Wang! Ouyang Changming's body shook, and then he stood still. The nearby disciples looked nervous. Many of them had frightened looks on their faces. It's the purple demon eyes. This is the Purple Extreme Devil Palace's most powerful eye technique. That brat is done for. I heard that no one below the harmonious spirit realm can resist the purple demon eyes. Not only the young disciples, but even some of the elders were also looking at the arena with serious expressions. They were more familiar with this kind of eye technique. It was an extremely powerful eye technique that could suck a person's soul into a special spiritual space. Once they entered, they would be at the mercy of others. Chongming. Elder Ouyang's face was filled with worry. Humph! The elder of the inscription palace sneered. They were eager to see something happen in the great Xia country. 1 breath, 2 breaths. After 10 breaths of time, Ouyang Changming still hadn't fallen. Although his face was pale and his body was drenched in sweat, he was still standing. He can actually last for 10 breaths of time. This kid is not simple. I'm afraid that even a second-grade inscriptionist at the peak might not be able to withstand it for 10 breaths. At the 11th breath, Ouyang Changming's body moved. Bang! He knelt on one knee, gasping for breath. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Drops of blood flowed down continuously, splashing into the air. To be able to last for 10 breaths of time, you should be proud. Zai's voice was cold, as if he was a high and mighty king. Ouyang Changming's body trembled, and a bitter smile appeared on his face. He was powerful and thought that he was the #1 person in the great Xia country, but he didn't expect to be defeated here. The gap was too big. In Zai's spiritual space, he didn't have the strength to fight back. He could only bitterly resist. I only used half of my strength. Zai smiled evilly. What? Ouyang Changming's body trembled, and the people around him exclaimed. Half of his strength defeated Ouyang Changming? Just how powerful was Ziyi? This Ouyang Changming should be the #1 person in the great Xia country. It seems that the great Xia country has no hope this time. There were sighs and sneers nearby. 2 disciples of the Ouyang family went up to help Ouyang Changming off the stage. Their backs were filled with loneliness. The disciples of the great Xia country had a worried look. Were they going to be last again? You forgot one person. Huang Shanshan stood in the crowd and said in a low voice. The disciples of the great Xia country raised their heads with a puzzled expression on their faces. Lin Xian, we still have Lin Xian. He defeated Hua Yan. The eyes of the disciples of the great Xia country suddenly burst with light, as if they had caught the last life-saving straw. Yes, Lin Xian is also a second-grade inscription master. Maybe he can create a miracle. Humph, although the one surnamed Lin is strong, he is almost on par with Ouyang Changming. Compared to Zai, he is far worse. Your great Xia country actually put your hopes on a little brat. How sad. The disciples of the Shadow Country ruthlessly attacked. At this time Zai laughed and said, Within 10 breaths I can get rid of Lin Xian. His voice was unusually cold, as if the space was frozen. Senior brother Zai is mighty. The Purple Extreme Demon Palace will win. For a time there was a burst of cheers in the valley. In the stands, the elders of the Purple Extreme Demon Palace had a calm smile on their faces. Zai's Purple Extreme Demon Eyes has already been cultivated to the 3rd level. I'm afraid none of the young disciples in the entire valley is his opponent. The inscription tower is nothing. When the time comes, the entire Shadow Country will be ours. The people of the Nether Hall have already moved out. Our Purple Extreme Hall can't fall behind. Several elders of the Purple Extreme Demon Palace communicated with each other, their expressions full of pride. On the great Xia country's side there were sighs. Elder Ouyang had already gone to treat Ouyang Changming. Elder Song and Elder Gu looked at each other and shook their heads. Can Lin Xian contend with Zai? Elder Song's voice had a hint of disappointment. It will be difficult, Elder Gu said in a low voice, but I have confidence in him. Oh, Elder Song looked at him in surprise. When I first met Lin Xian, he was only a martial artist at the second level of the spiritual sea realm. But at that time he could continuously create miracles, challenging geniuses above his level, killing the older generation of martial artists, and even challenging the harmonious spirit realm. And in a short 3 months, his cultivation has reached the 6th level of the spiritual sea realm.